I've been scared to stop and survey all the choices that I've made. Like I barely beat addiction, but I keep the price I paid. And if I'm older, if I'm jaded, and now that I've made it for so long, playing someone else's game and singing someone else's song. And if my pencil and my anger can't agree to summarize, if I'm real, I know I'll never be surprised. It seems like everybody makes the same mistake. It seems like everybody's just so fucking fake. And I'm a hypocrite, I know, but that button down below. So be careful when you choose to take the bait. So with our little lies, we optimize the pictures on the screen. And we don't talk about the high we get from knowing who might see. And like a king who loves his throne, I know the guilty will excuse. And we protect our insecurities, and we know it gets more views. Tell the children in my church that mediocrity's unique, and I can steal the validation that they see. It seems like everybody makes the same mistake. It seems like everybody's just so fucking fake. And I'm a hypocrite, I know, but that button down below. So be careful when you choose to take the bait. Enjoy this, breaking my excuses down. I know why I avoid it. Comfortable to sell a sound. And if I hold to honesty, I fall for my own competency. That shit that I was then is over now. It seems like everybody makes the same mistake. It seems like everybody's just so fucking fake. And I'm a hypocrite, I know, but that button down below. So be careful when you choose. You never know what you might lose. So be careful when you choose to take the bait.
Good afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are on planet Earth. Thank you so much for being here. Happy to see all of you here for another episode of the Caleb Hyles Show. I know it's been too long. Last time it was in early March, and I said I'm not going to wait this long again. Or actually, it was late February, and surprise, I did wait that long again to do another Caleb Hyles Show. But to be fair, we had a snowmageddon here in Texas, and we apparently don't know what we're doing with snow, so that was bad. Other stuff was going on. Had to still put out videos or work on projects and the like. So it took a while to get around to doing another show. However, there is no better time to do a show than right now, when one of my favorite people is releasing their debut full-length album. And that person is Jonathan Young. I am so excited, so thrilled. And I didn't know if I would be able to get John to do a live stream show, interview-esque thing like this with me. And I had to jump at this opportunity to bring John into the show to do a fun little interview. So we're not going to wait too much longer. We got a lot to get to today. John's getting the full unfiltered treatment, but we're also listening through the entirety of Starship Velociraptor with commentary from Jonathan himself and what he was thinking. And obviously we're going to be shooting the breeze and all the other business, but I'm going to hop right to it here. I'm going to switch over my camera, click this button. I'm also going to undeafen here. I think now he can hear me. All right, hopping back over. Yep.
There he is.
I switched it over. All right, hop into Unfiltered. Boom, there's your stinger. Fun little thing right there.
Hello.
Screen it. There it is. I think everything's working. I think it looks good. I can see my mouse over here because I'm still trying to figure out Streamlabs and full screening and
No worries, dude.
like display capture and all that, but I think it's actually working. And there's the chat on the left. Nice, it's working. Cool.
Excellent.
Well, hello, John. I know we talked before this, but just to keep with the continuity, how are you? How have you been? Good to see you.
I'm doing well. Man. I'm very excited. I'm very excited about this album release.
Yes.
And yeah.
You've been talking about it for a long time too. Starship Velociraptor. I remember I should have had it ready on the go for this, but I just like missed my opportunity. Hold on. No, wait. Is it too late? Anyway, I'm going to ask you about something so you can be talking about it and I can go find it just to keep the brisk pace going.
Okay.
But you've been talking about Starship Velociraptor for a long time. And
yeah, man.
And you said in your little promo video that it's been like 5 years in the making, but I wasn't aware about it. I mean, 5 years ago, I think we met 5 years ago.
I think we met longer ago than that.
2016?
No, because we met. Was it really 2016?
Mm-hmm. June or July of 2016, because it was the summer of Pokemon Go. And it had like just come out.
Okay.
Yeah, and I went down to San Diego. We were all there.
So yeah, the project was in its very, very early stages in 2016.
Yes.
The idea of back then it was just this twinkling of an idea of doing this like joke prod. At that time it was a joke idea. It was it would have been late 2016. But yeah, because I just like I got really sick of it. I got really sick of everybody's writing songs about the same things in America. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
And I just talked about this with some other guys on the Snark Tank podcast. Shout out to them. But it's like it was just this thing where like I'm a huge music theory guy, and not only so first of all, if you pardon my little bit here,
this is why you're on, John. I wanted all the bits. I knew I'd get all the bits. This is what I wanted. I wanted to share this with everyone because we have these conversations where you get your bits and go off. No one else gets to hear it, and it's like wonderful.
I was gonna say that, man, like because I don't know if anybody really knows this, but like first of all, like you're one of the only, I think you're possibly the only full-time YouTuber besides like Rich that I actually talk to on a regular basis. Because like there's I mean like, and I don't want people to be like ooh and like go tag all my other like YouTube friends, but like because like
we're not in that category where people are trying to make beef out of us,
right? But like you know what I mean though, because it's like I have a lot of business friends and musician friends who I talk to about music and stuff like that, but I've never sat down and had dinner with most of them. Like I've never introduced most of those people to my family, and it's nice, it's refreshing because I don't think people realize, well, and this sounds bad, I don't think people realize how fake most YouTuber friendships are and content creator friendships are, but ours is not.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't know. Well, but the other thing is that I don't think anybody, because we have had conversations like this at our live performances, which were local in different parts of the country, but I don't think we've ever had an actual conversation directly in front of our YouTube audience.
No. I literally was talking about that with Kara at lunch. I was like, this will be the first time anyone's seen us converse.
Which seems weird because we've had conversations like this every couple of months. We do this exact same thing.
Yep.
Just privately. So it's weird, man.
Yeah. No, well, I think it kind of comes from, we kind of met at the same time that we were really investing time and effort into making this like a career or trying to have this be the thing we do. So we met at similar points in our careers, quote unquote. So there was a lot of, I think,
yeah, there's a lot of overlap too.
Over like, oh, we're both starting, and so you're a lot of sharing in how it's going. So there's a lot of opportunity for like really personal connections and whatnot. But also, I did find what I was looking for, and it does relate to Starship Velociraptor.
Is it the Metrocon thing?
It was the Metrocon thing, because what people don't know.
I was kind of hoping you wouldn't be able to find that.
What's wrong? I'm not gonna play the whole thing.
Well, because I mean, that.
Are you gonna like mid roll it, or like you're gonna ramp into it? Do you want me to just play it?
So what Caleb is about to try and show you guys is, would have been 2018.
2018. Yep.
In 2018, my eyes were a little bit bigger than my stomach, as they say, and I thought that Starship Velociraptor was going to be done by the end of 2018.
You did? Oh my goodness.
Not end of 20. I thought it would be done at the end of 2019, because I had started. I finished writing the song that you're about to play at Metrocon, and I got so hyped up about it that I just impulsively did a live performance of it with Caleb when we did a live show at a convention, and that version of the song ended up being nothing like what's actually on the album.
No, it's not anything.
And,
it's like really not close.
In fact, I'm getting ahead of myself. That song almost ended up getting cut from the album, because all of the other stuff that I started writing after what Caleb wants to show you was so much better that I ended up needing to backtrack, and the whole concept of the album changed. At that point, it was going to be, the whole album was going to be one story.
Yeah.
And I decided against that for a lot of reasons. So I had to go back and rewrite every single lyric to make it fit the new structure of the album. And I didn't end up writing the guitar riff, the arpeggio thing that's in the final song. Yeah, you guys will hear it when we listen to the album later. But I didn't end up writing that guitar arpeggio or the synth arpeggio until like a month before the album was done. Like 6 months ago was when that and I think the song would have been cut from the album if I hadn't come up with that arpeggio, because the song was not it wasn't up to par with it. Like that arpeggio at the beginning of the album, that changes the game, you know what I mean?
Just
anyway, so I got way ahead of myself. I was going to do my little bit about why I wrote this album before we get too into this. So in Western, specifically United States music culture, you have like 5 topics that songs
Everyone
are
get
about.
your pen and papers out.
Right, get your pen and paper. This is my TED talk. Right?
I'm like
this
I'm
is my
partially
angry
joking,
rant.
but I'm partially not, because he'll do this,
so,
and you want to take notes.
Every song that every artist, whether you're independent or mainstream, every artist only writes songs about like 5 topics. Right? It's I'm in love, I'm depressed.
Yep.
My relationship isn't working out. Those could just be tied into the same thing. I'm gonna party or I'm rich. And then I'm addicted to drugs. You know, like those are like the 5 songs that like every single, it's just the same thing. And not only is it the same thing, it's the same rhymes. It's like the love songs are, it's all like I won't give up the fight, I'll make it right tonight. Like it's the same, like find the words to say, make it one more day.
Another song by the Fray.
Have to find a way. You know, like it's the same stuff, and then it's the same 4 chords.
Yes,
it's the like imagine going to a gourmet restaurant, and they only have like buttered toast on the menu.
I love
like
buttered
that's
toast.
it. Imagine going into an art gallery and the only color in any of the art is orange.
I mean, some people would probably
Like-
call it avant-garde and genius.
Like that's fine if there's but imagine every art gallery in the entire country of the United States only has the color orange in it. Like
that'd be much.
It baffles me how behind the music industry is with this. The music industry is bafflingly monotonous and homogenized and samey, and it sucks. And this is coming from someone with, 8 years of music theory and music production experience with half of a degree in songwriting. And I'm not just saying, like, because people always say, like, pop music is so generic and the radio sucks. Like, everybody always says that. But I'm talking about on a technical level. On a technical level, this stuff you can actually see them using less colors in the music, starting at the 60s, and then each decade they forget how to use colors until it's just one color, and they forget. Are you
describing minimalism?
Well, but that's what it is. It's corporate optimization of music so that you can just make the easiest stuff possible that will still sell. It's like sequel culture. It's like sequel culture on sequel and reboot culture on steroids, and that's the whole music industry. It's horrible.
So you wanted to make an album that was
so
anti everything you just said.
Yes. I snapped, and I was like, if everybody else is making an album about all this boring crap with all these boring chords, I'm going to write the greatest album ever made, and it's going to be about something that no one has ever written about, but the lyrics are going to be structured better than any of this other stuff. The chords are going to be structured better, because it doesn't matter what you write about. You can write a good song about anything. And that's another thing, man. Like a good artist, or like a really good artist, you should be able to tell them, make me sad with a painting, and they should be able to do it. A good cook, you should be able to tell them, make an Indian dish, make a Mexican dish, a classic American dish. You should be able to challenge a good artist to do these things, and they should be able to do them. And musicians can't do it because they're bad, because they've forgotten how to do this stuff. Musicians, not everybody, not everybody. There are some that are good, but musicians as a whole, as a culture, musicians have forgotten how to use the tools at their disposal. And instead of me being able to go to a musician and say, write me a sad song right now, write me a song inspired by Celtic folk music, write me a song inspired by Eastern Oriental music. Instead of being able to do that, they say, I'm not feeling inspired. I'm just not feeling it. I'm going to go, I don't know, man. Anyway, so I snapped, and that's why I made Starship Velociraptor. That's my TED Talk.
Dang.
I got it out. I got it out of my system. Now I don't have to make a 10-minute long video about this.
You know what's funny too is I'm like, people are like, wow, John's so passionate, and I'm like, I can't turn John down. That's just John when he.
Sorry. I can move my mic back here so that I'm not.
No, I think I could just turn you down. Like it's as simple as that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, John, I don't need you getting like passionate about anything, okay? Like this is a call. Okay, we're going to talk strictly about the most. By the way, it's a surprise. This is actually we're going to do it's like an opposite top 10. It's your top 10 most lifeless covers that you've ever made. Like that's
really?
That's a surprise. It's
is that actually a question that you have for me?
No, it's not, but I like it when I said it coming out.
I could do that.
Like it's a funny like which one were you least invested in from 10 to 1? No, that wasn't one of my questions, but I want to get to questions. I do.
I think if I answered that question, I would lose like several thousand subscribers.
There you go. Well, then we'll keep that buried.
Put those numbers up.
Tucked away. Got to keep those numbers where they are. Okay, let me hold on. Let me turn my main volume back up, because I forget on Discord you can just like change people's user volumes, which is like so freaking great. Then you don't have to make them do anything. Okay, well. Then I'm going to, for everybody, briefly, not all of it, I'm going to play a little bit of the MetroCon performance that you had. I'm also going to full screen it so no one can see John. You can only see John on the screen here.
You got this. I think
me? I'm not listening to this.
I received
I can't hear what you're.
transmission.
Oh yeah, that's true. You can't hear it because I can't play it through. I mean, I could play it through Discord. Well, I guess you can hop on the stream and see it. You can see how I listen to it there.
Yeah, it'll be a few seconds behind. I don't want to hold anybody up.
Gotcha. Well, I won't play much of it. It won't last long. Oh, let's see here. I gotta get your opening shtick, because that surprisingly stays really close to where it is right now, to the final release. That doesn't change too much. And by the way, everyone, this was back in 2018.
Dropping those. I'm gonna go try now. You got this.
All right,
I think it's you. Or is it both of us? Do I have to stay out here?
No, this is no.
Y'all are in for a treat.
Okay. This song, which you're about to hear.
Oh wait, I can screen share? Oh.
Will that make them hear it double?
Hold on, let me just do this.
That might make them hear it double if you have it coming through Discord and also coming through Streamlabs.
Oh, those are all my sticky notes? Like, every single sticky note. Jonathan Young here. Oh, that's true. Maybe. Hold on. I'm just gonna play it like I was doing because it's all I know. It's what I know and it works. Back to it.
Has never been heard before.
Dang it, Caleb. Sorry, Cammy.
Because it does not exist yet. Because it's from the future. I received an emergency transmission from the starship Velociraptor. It was a single audio file, and I'm sharing it with the world now. This is an original song.
I'm kind of mad at you for playing this, Caleb.
You're mad at me?
I'm mad at you for showing people the unfinished version of this song.
Dude, I forgot that it starts with you singing.
Ah, dude, they're gonna hear the one version from the album, and they're gonna be like, wow.
It needs the arpeggio. I want the arpeggio.
I have the high quality.
Oh, I still have the key change.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right, that's all much I'll play. I won't play like a ton of the rest of it. Oh man.
I'm just gonna pretend like 500 people didn't hear that.
It's so great though. It's like it's cool to see the progression, right? Because mind you, that's 2 years ago in July, and the album came out yesterday, April 3rd, 2021. And it's still the essence of the song is there, but like for all like songwriters, it's the idea of like sometimes I mean some songs come to you naturally and they come out, you know, and they're exactly like you want them, but it's like if you can kind of sit with a song a bit, you can go back and rework and you can like get the final product that you're like really proud of. And,
it's
full
weird,
potential.
man. Like internet culture has really changed the way that people the way that artists interact with like perfectionism and works in progress.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like before, like, you know, when Queen was making Bohemian Rhapsody, that was like months, or not months, but it was like, you know, weeks of hours and hours and hours of recording that they spent just on that one song, like writing those parts. And like nowadays, like, you don't even get to do works in progress. You just post the works in progress. You know what I mean? And like, I'm such a perfectionist that like one of my biggest pet peeves is looking at my old work and immediately seeing what I could have done better. That's like all I can see. Like anytime anybody messages me or like tweets at me or comments or whatever, and is anytime anybody's like, "Oh, I love this video that you posted 5 years ago," I just get angry. Like,
can't even say thank you. You just like snarl.
Thinking back to like the "I'll Make a Man Out of You" cover, like one of the first video I posted that blew up. Like, I could make like a 10-page dissertation about everything that I could have done better now if I did that. And you know, that's why I'm redoing some of these old songs. That's why I redid Under the Sea and Let It Go. That's 100% why I redid Let It Go, so that when people search for Jonathan Young Let It Go, they don't find that god awful cover that I did. And you know, like, I know, like, I'm not looking at the chat right. I know there's gonna be people that are like, "But I love that cover." It's like, fine, like you love it, that's fine. I think it objectively sucks, and that doesn't mean I'm saying you're wrong. But I hate it, and you'll never be able to convince me otherwise.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but I objectively think it's
singer,
bad.
I'm a better drummer, I'm a better guitarist, I'm a better piano player than I was back then.
Than anyone listening. Is that what you just said?
No, no.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I just wanted to put that in your.
Anyway,
I'm a better singer. I'm a better guitarist. I'm a better pianist.
Edit that?
No, seriously, someone could just chop that.
Yeah.
I'm a better singer. I'm a better guitar, and then like start putting all these people on screen, and you're just like, "Yep, better than them, better than that."
Just starting fake beef.
I talked about it with Anna on the last show I did. I was like, I'm gonna
I was there. I was in the chat.
Yeah, that's true. Because I talked about how I made fun of your
Anna's great
voice.
I had to leave your stream, and I went back and watched some of the stream VOD afterward, and I caught her like calling me an alien or something like that. It was like one of the weirdly nicest compliments I've ever gotten.
Like, that's not how you start beef,
musician.
Anna. You don't call them like.
No, it wasn't during that. It's like you brought me up, and she was like, "I don't think John is from this planet." I was like, "Oh, that was really nice."
But also very on brand though for Starship Velociraptor, because
I have some projects I'm working on with Anna, and her stuff is great. She's an absolutely amazing singer.
Oh yeah, phenomenal.
I feel like I need to pay back the compliment here on the Caleb Powell Show. So
well, I want to get into the questions because we got to get to Starship Velociraptor.
Yes.
And I think what I'm going to do is I'm thinking on the fly is we'll do some questions, jump into music, listen to a couple of the tracks, you can talk about them, and then I'll jump to more questions, and we'll just kind of intersperse it like that, so we can keep variety up. But we've kind of already, like, I figured this might happen, so I didn't write, like, a butt ton of questions because I figured there would just be a natural conversation. Things come up. I wish I had been writing this whole time, but I don't want to seem like I'm not paying attention because it's like I've had questions. So I hope some are here. But I'm gonna read my lead-in that I wrote for each of the questions. Think of it it's like Hot Ones kind of thing, you know? Except
you don't have to preface this, man. I've seen your show. We go way back. Just do your thing,
you good?
Man.
Okay. I have a simple question for you, John, because we've had many discussions about music, YouTube, algorithms, exposure, artistic integrity, clickbait, talent, skill, but it all boils down to this. Why do people like covers so much? Why do people like covers?
Because they already know that they're going to like it before they click on it.
That is such a good answer that I could have never predicted. Wow.
That's
because they already know they're gonna like it.
Yep.
Or like a chance is higher that they're gonna like it because they're searching for it, right?
I'm generalizing, but unless the musician sucks, then they already know that they're gonna like it before they click on it. If someone goes looking for an English cover of an anime song, they already know that they're going to like it because that's what they want to hear. If someone goes looking for a metal cover of a Taylor Swift song, or if someone clicks on it, as soon as they click on it, they already know that they're going to like it. They already know that it's going to be interesting and thought-provoking at the very least, but probably that they're going to like it, because no one who hates metal is going to click on a metal cover of a Taylor Swift song, because not only because they don't like metal, but also because YouTube will never show them a video with metal in the keyword.
Yeah.
So the algorithms reinforce this. And if you like Minecraft, if you're a 10-year-old that loves Minecraft, you're already going to love anything that has your favorite Minecraft streamer in it, because you're obsessed with them. So it's guaranteed turnaround. So, but if you don't know who Jonathan Young is, and you see Jonathan Young's Starship Velociraptor, you have no friggin' clue what that. I'm trying not to swear.
I don't care. Like Cammy, Anna, everybody, you're free.
Yeah, you have no clue who Jonathan Young is. You have no clue what Starship Velociraptor is. You're not going to click on it, because you would be risking your time. You would be investing time in something that you don't know you're going to get dopamine from. And we all just have stupid ape brains. So, but if you love Legend of Zelda and you see Legend of Zelda song, or if you love Star Wars and they come out with a new Star Wars movie, it's the same thing. Like, you already know that you're going to like the new Marvel movie before it comes out, because you already love Captain America. You already have a Captain America bumper sticker. And that goes for everything. That's why we are having such a problem on social media with art right now, is because artists and corporations have realized that you will always be able to make free money if you just use something that someone already likes to get them to give you more money, whether that's a sequel, whether that's a cover song, whether that's all these other things. So it's always going to be more profitable to do that than it is to take a risk, than it is for a young guy in the 60s to make a crazy movie that no one's ever heard of called Star Wars. Like for some crazy guy in New Zealand to make an epic 3-part movie series about an old book that some World War I veteran made called Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean? Like people aren't taking those risks anymore. People aren't making new music, because if I can say, come listen to my rock band, we sound like AC/DC, that is so much more marketable, and like it'll automatically get millions of people who have AC/DC in their Facebook likes to automatically want to listen to you, rather than just saying, come listen to my original rock band that I've poured my heart and soul into. Nobody cares. And until the art world is no longer profit driven, this will only get worse.
Okay. I think I had a follow-up question thinking what your answer was going to be, and I whiffed, like big whiff on that one. Like,
really?
I think I completely whiffed on what I thought
my answer was going to be.
I don't even recall. My follow-up question doesn't even relate to what you just said. However,
did you think I was going to say, like, people like covers because they are wholesome 100 anime?
No, I think well, okay. It kind of, okay, I will say this. My third question actually relates more to your answer than the second one does, and maybe I'll get back to the second. Third question.
Skip your third question if I rambled too long.
No, you haven't. This is a great follow-up. Is there any way in which someone finds and likes your covers, music, I said music, I'll say covers to be more specific to your answer.
Okay.
Likes your covers that you don't think that they've been tricked into it?
No. Every cover that I've ever made was with the goal of making money. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I was very curious about the answer. Yeah, like, is there any way? And it's like,
I mean,
no, no way.
like I'll back up and say, like, I fucking love the Pokemon theme. I fucking love Skyrim.
Yeah.
I really like One Punch Man. Like, I genuinely enjoy those songs.
Yeah.
And I had a fun time making those covers. but I didn't make those covers because I thought that the world needed them.
Yeah.
I didn't make those covers because I thought that, I mean, I think that I contributed maybe something fresh and new to a couple of my covers, like the Skyrim theme. I think that I tried some musical stuff that was waiting to be tried that no one else had tried, and some of my Disney songs. But like, the world will keep turning even if I don't add a cool metal lick and drum part to every Disney song. Like, nothing's gonna change, and if I don't do it, somebody else will. Like, there's no I am tracing someone else's art. I am taking, you know, the Mona Lisa, tracing over it and adding devil horns, and that's my job. Like, I'm not Da Vinci when I'm doing that. Like, you know. Well, so, and I should say, like, I appreciate that people have funded my artistic career with covers, and I am grateful for the support. But I also think it's important to recognize how easy it was for me to clickbait 2 million people with the goal of clickbait. Because that was like, I literally was playing in bars. Caleb knows this. I was playing in bars in Minnesota, writing original songs, playing in bars in Minnesota. Nobody cared, and I snapped. And I was like, well, I'm not making any money. I'm living with my parents. I hate my life. I got to make money somehow. I got to have a career somehow. I see these people on YouTube that are making covers. I could probably do that. I could probably make some money doing that. That was it. Like, I never said I'm passionate about copying someone else's guitar part and singing lower over it, you know? So I don't know. I just, and I feel so bad coming out and saying this on a stream like this, because I know that there are kids that are watching right now that are going to be hurt by me saying this, because it's going to feel like you're realizing that, you know, it's this realization that your favorite art was made with the goal of making money. And that feels bad, because everybody wants to believe that their favorite piece of art had a lot of heart and soul behind it. But that's not the real world right now, guys. And if you want it to be like that, we have to change everything so that it's not so money focused. Because I had to pay my bills, and I had to make choices in order to pay my bills, because my art wasn't paying the bills on their own. And I think a lot of people lie about that. A lot of people make those sacrifices, and they change their art to make more money, but they don't want to admit it because it hurts to admit. So I'm trying to be open and honest about that.
This is why I brought John on. This was to crush children's dreams. No, I don't think this is crushing. I think this is illuminating, is more actually what it is. And I think it's sobering is a word I would actually use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if I have to be that guy where I say the stuff that kids don't want to hear, but they need to hear it, that's fine. Because, like, nobody else right now is really doing that. Like, nobody else is being honest about how crappy this whole clickbait thing is.
Well, and to be fair not fair maybe isn't the correct word, but to add something, I'll figure out what it is after the fact. But my only like pressing against that is how you, and I think I have a question about this later, but you know, I'll just jump to that question and then we'll move on to listening to the album to start with.
Somebody in the chat said, but isn't the point of art less what people put into it and more what people get out of it?
Yes. You can go ahead and answer. Yeah, go ahead and take that. That's a great question.
But that is not what most people believe. Most people believe that in order for you to get something good out of art, someone had to put something good into it. And I shouldn't say nobody, but many people don't realize how easy it is to artificially create an emotional response in art if you're good enough at it. If I know exactly what notes to play, I can make you feel happy. And if I know exactly what notes to play, I can make you feel sad. And that's a science.
Yep. Oh,
that has nothing to do with how much you put into it. And you're right about that. person in the chat whose name I missed. So not only do we need to change the profit culture, but we need to change the perception of art as magic to art as craftsmanship. And we need to be okay with people skillfully crafting something that makes us feel happy or makes us feel sad. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much.
No. That quite literally, I'll circumvent the other question I had and jump right into this question I wrote because it's going to sound like I just freaking profit assumed this. Anyway, you often have talked about music like it's a simple science. I refer to a phrase you've used that I now frequent called sound waves go brr or something like that. Sound waves make you feel good. You seem to want to like de-romanticize music to some degree. Like music creation as a whole isn't something to be lauded. And I offer up a two-part question.
Yes.
And I'll ask the second one after I ask the first. Can music then have soul, spirit, heart, whatever you want to put behind it? Can it have those things?
That's the question.
That's the first
Full
part.
stop?
That's the first part.
I mean, I'm not a metaphysicist, Caleb. You know,
Well, I don't mean it like I'm not talking about like soul and spirit and other metaphysical stuff. I'm talking like the idea, the romantic notion.
So here's my problem. Music as an industry right now is uniquely ego-driven and mystified. And other art industries are like that. Think about what you have to do to become a professional cook or chef. Like if you want to be the next Gordon Ramsay.
Sure.
You have to learn the craftsmanship of cooking meat perfectly, seasoning meat perfectly, understanding how our taste buds interact with different components. And music is exactly the same. But you don't hear Gordon Ramsay talking about, like, you will hear Gordon Ramsay talking about soul and passion, but you won't hear him talking about magically just, you know, I accidentally cooked the meat at the right temperature because I have soul. Like, we have to separate those things. Soul is something that we can't quantify, but craftsmanship is. And music, no one in the music world treats music like a craft, but every other art does. If you want to be a painter, you have to learn about how light and shadows work. You have to learn about how colors work together. And even if you don't go to art school, you still end up learning those things. But musicians oftentimes never learn about how chords interact with each other. They never learn about how the different colors of sounds work. And I'm not trying to roast, but it's like
no, I
honestly,
understand.
Like we have to push ourselves to be better because we are the only industry in the world that cares more about pretty faces than they do about skill. I mean, besides maybe like actors, but like
no, that one hits a little bit. Like that one.
Yeah, you know what I mean, though?
Yeah,
It's like-
no, I feel you. That one's just like a real like knife twist.
yeah.
Oh man.
Like, I should say we're the only non-visual industry that cares more about a pretty face than we do about skill. That's
well then.
redacted.
Well then, I had a follow-up question, and maybe it's not applicable anymore. But I'm going to ask it. If not, then say with music, if you were to come up with something, if it's not passion or heart or spirit or soul in a music, like when someone's like really feeling their music or they wrote it from a place of like an emotional moment or whatever it is, then what should we call it? Like, what would be like the thing that, is it just skill? Like, is it?
I mean, honestly, man, like, I don't think I'm the right person to answer that because, like, I don't think it. I think that people spend too much time thinking about this, and I think that's our problem. I think people think too much about the mystery of their heart and passion, and they don't think enough about how they need to practice more, especially musicians.
Yeah.
And
No, I
and so
feel that.
like I know what I feel, and I know when I'm being real about something, and I know where my passion is. But I'm not going to sit here and just talk about how passionate I am
Mm-hmm.
because it's not relevant. Like, we're not, like, my job at least is not to be a philosopher.
Mm-hmm.
My job is not to be a spiritualist. My job is not to be a preacher. My job is to make you feel something by skillfully putting notes together.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the only thing that I want to focus on, and I wish that more people would focus on that.
Well, and you know what's funny too, to piggyback off that point, is if people spent more time understanding and learning, then they'd actually be able to better express their feelings through that art form. Like if they just took the time and the effort,
to create more soul, or at least the illusion of soul.
Yeah.
You know, like you can pour more. Like that's the thing, man. Is that I cannot even tell you how many musicians I've met that will the first thing they'll tell you is I have soul, I'm passionate, but they can't ever express it because they don't know. Because if you only know 4 chords, then you are limited to the range of color that those chords can express, and you'll never be able to express the complex bittersweetness of an A minor add 9 add 7 chord because you don't know how to play that chord. But that chord has a human emotion that will embed itself in your brain when you hear that because of the way that our brains are wired. And why wouldn't you want to learn? Like, imagine if artists could just discover how to make new colors. Why wouldn't you learn every chord that you could, man? Those are your paints. You're working with 3 colors of paints right now. Get some more paint, and then you can make better paintings, man. I don't know. I don't understand. I think it's because we can't see it. People only hear music, and so they don't think of they don't make these comparisons. I don't know, man. It's weird. It's weird.
Well, and you know what? We can transition now nicely.
Yes.
Into
I'm sorry.
No, I dude, this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted. I was gonna say, then for Starship Velociraptor, with the things that you've learned over a lifetime, you know, where as long as you've begun, you know, learning about music, and where the nexus of the idea came from, and actually putting it all into a project and like investing that time and that effort, like, do you feel like this is something you can say, like, this was a passion project?
100%. 100%. I really wanted to, most of the time, I was talking to Brandon 16 in Mono about this the other day. A good friend of ours, amazing producer, 16 in Mono on YouTube. And he sent me a message. He was like, John, I listened to your album again, and I realized that you're always at 30% when you're making covers. And with Starship Velociraptor, I can tell that you were at 100%. And I was like, man, I felt that, you know?
Yeah, that's a good one, man. Well, I mean, you really do put it all on display. I remember the first song you played for me, like from it, like completed full, you know, you're just like, I was listening to, I had this vision, of after listening, which we're about to listen to the first track, Glory or Gold. And I had this vision of you like on a stage with like the band, you know? Yeah. And the band, and it's climbing, its key changes keep going. And like everyone's freaking killing it, and the lights are going everywhere, and everyone's like, and I was just like, man, this is like perfect. Like, this is so, you can just see the fullness the image, it was like, oh my gosh, this is. I was getting like happy for you, even though that hasn't happened. I was like proud.
Thank you, man.
I was like, it's gonna be so, that first show that he does is gonna be like, he's gonna go out there as freaking Galactic Kraken, and it's gonna be like so lit. But anyway, we're going to jump right into, and I guess I'll do this now because I can do the share the screen. They're mentioning, I'm going to trust the share the screen function here.
Because I don't know how I'm going to be able to hear this.
Yeah, we'll do the share the screen.
We'll figure it out.
And we'll Elementary theater mode, hit this. I'm going to turn the volume up. I'm going to keep it at like a mid volume.
Okay.
And then I'm going to share screen, and that one right there. Resolution, yeah, that sounds about right. Frame rate 30, that sounds good to me. Jonathan Young, yep. Go live. Okay, go live.
Yep. So I should be able to hear this now.
And I'll full screen, and I can move me. Oh, I can just do that. I can like make that big, or I can make me big. Or I can make. I'm sorry.
I think you can also like manually decide what screen you want to look at. I think. I don't know. Yes,
I can. I have the power. Oh wait, grid. Yeah, let's go with grid.
Can you guys tell that we are musicians and not Twitch streamers?
Yes, that is a good follow up there. And my back screen just showed the John Travolta background that a friend of mine threw on my background without me paying attention. So now I got like a John Travolta as my wallpaper. So if anyone's wondering why he's there, we've paused this to preview to save your resources. Can you not pause it? I don't want you to pause it.
Caleb.
I know. I need to trust Cammy. I need to. I trust Cammy with so much else. I don't know why I should with this one. But anyway, it's the first track, Glory or Gold. Do you want to say something to start, or do you want to say something after in the middle?
Let's just do it. I'm talking too much.
All right, we will start. Let me rewind it a little bit.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, it's not playing. Play!
It's playing for me.
There you go.
Yeah, this like I said, this song was almost cut before I wrote that synth arpeggio, and now it's one of my favorite parts of the album.
Oh, I like the lyrics at the bottom.
Yeah. I impulsively decided to do that at 1 in the morning.
That had to take forever.
That took like 2 hours. This album turned from a comedy project into a protest of modern political and social issues through the lens of intergalactic space pirates. And I'm very happy with that change.
I thought you said effing free. Like, I was like, no, effing feed. I got mouths to feed.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a way to keep this open without it doing the preview mode. Over here.
I can't play that part. Part of the goal with this album was to write music that was so over the top that it would be almost impossible to play.
Really?
Yeah, all of the guitars on this album are synthesizers made by Solemn Tones. There is not a single real guitar that was used in this album.
Do you take pride in that?
Yes. I think many guitarists are stuck-up egomaniacs and need to chill out about stuff like that. Many guitarists would yell at me as soon as they find out that my guitars were actually synthesizers. But I think it's cool. I think it allows, people that have wrist problems, people that are disabled, now they can use guitar in their music for very, very cheap. And they are no longer limited by their technical skill. They can just be creative. And
that's true.
Write
You also happen to be able to play guitar pretty dang well. Coming from a layman who doesn't know.
You can say
anything.
that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say that, but I appreciate that. I can play chords on the guitar just fine.
Oh my gosh.
And
Well, I remember listening to this for the first time, and it goes up the first key change, and then it does the second. I'm like, John, stop.
Yeah.
John,
That
stop.
was part of the joke. When I started writing this song, I was like, remember that Attack on Titan opening where they're
Yes.
like, they key change like during every chorus?
Yes.
I was like, what if we took that and just like kept going? That's one of my favorite like music jokes on the album. Because I know musicians will listen to that and be like, oh, he key changed 6 times.
No, it was hilarious though, because it went up that second time. I was like, John, stop! Like it's not in a bad way, because it was really great.
Yeah.
But then it went up the third. I was like, oh my gosh! But it feels like taking off. It feels like something's starting. You know? Do you feel like Glory or Gold's like the true beginning of the album now? Because I know you
Now
toyed
it
around with
is.
it being like
Yes.
the ending for a while.
Did I?
Yeah, you mentioned back in
man.
November. You were like, I'm thinking maybe it's the end, like potentially an end track.
That must have been before I wrote Final. When I wrote Final, when I first got the idea for the chorus of the last song, I immediately knew that was going to be the last song on the album. But
oh man.
as Glory or Gold was almost going to be cut, and once I wrote that synth arpeggio, I was like, this is the opening. Now I know that this can be on the album.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, obviously, people may have heard this next one, which is arguably, which by the way, like that's a whole nother. I'll get into it after this song, but like, freaking, this song was so I was cackling when hearing this song. I was just dying because it was so
thank you, man.
Freaking funny.
I wanted to keep the album. This is the other thing. Musicians in America specifically take themselves way too seriously. I mentioned this on this other podcast I did a few days ago as well, but metal musicians are so obsessed nowadays with being tough, and they're terrified of being called gay, so they never try anything. They never try anything fun because they're worried that it's going to come across as not tough enough to be rock music. And
that is fascinating.
Like we have fallen so far in terms of like masculinity complexes in rock music since the 80s. Like think about like Queen and like hair metal. Like back then they just wanted to have fun and fight the power, and that to me is rock and roll. And nowadays it's like angry songs only, angry songs about drugs and toxic relationships only, and it's like, I don't have time for that, man. I'm here to have fun. So this album was to make sure that everybody knows where this song was to make sure everybody knows where I stood on that topic.
Well, that is the segue. Well, we're gonna jump right back into it as it fades in. Oh, and you faded it in on the same same note. That was real clever there. Real fun.
Power metal is obviously the exception to the masculinity thing. People are bringing up pirate metal and power metal examples. You'll notice I said in the United States.
Yes.
Many of the most fun metal bands come from Europe and Australia.
If your Christian parents or whomever were watching, now's a good. Maybe I should have warned you.
Now's a good time to get your Christian mom off of the stream.
Now you might want to like go get food or something. Like just like give us like 10 minutes, and then you can come back. Only for a little bit. No, that it's wonderful. We're gonna keep going.
I was halfway through writing this song, and I knew that I was kind of emulating Ninja Sex Party when I was writing this. I was like, okay, you know, if you're gonna write a song like this where you make jokes like this, people are gonna compare it to Ninja Sex Party. Brian, like, the stars aligned on this song, man. Brian hit me up and was like, hey man, I remember you from that Ninja Sex Party cover that you did years ago. I didn't even know that he knew who I was. He hit me up. He was like, I remember you had this great rock voice from that cover you did, and you know, I'm doing this children's album, and I would love to get you to do some vocals on it, and I'd really appreciate the favor, and then if you ever want me to hop on one of your songs, I'll owe you one. And I was already halfway through writing this, and I was like, So it was perfect timing. Brian's great. Brian is such a sweet guy.
A kids album.
Yeah, Brian made like a children's music album.
This song could not be any further from a children's
that's
song.
kind of Brian. Like, Brian does like children's content and then literally sex in the name of his other band. So I think his Twitter bio says children band this, adult band this.
That's clever.
I finished this song. I finished this song up until the part where I introduced him, and I sent it to him, and I just said, "Ruin it."
You really
like,
said
right.
You said like ruin it? Like I want you to.
I sent him the song up until the moment that Ninja Brian appears, and I just said to him, or we had already talked about like, okay, he's going to be on this song. And the lick is coming up, jazz musicians. And I literally just said to him, I'm going to introduce Ninja Brian, and then I want him to ruin my song. He was like, all right, I can do that.
Dang. And you had this great moment in the video, too, with this, like, self-awareness. It was, like, really freaking clever. Very funny.
Shout out to Simon Mako. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. Shuchuru did the video for this song, and it is absolutely amazing.
I'm going to turn up Ninja Brian here.
I have independent animators doing music videos for every song, and they are amazing.
I've turned up Ninja Brian. Nice. All right, there was best band in the universe, the best song that I've ever heard, and they invented music first. I died when I heard that line. Like, I was on the floor. Like, it was so funny, so perfect.
Man, I was like, I think I was on like a rhyming website. I was finding things that rhyme with universe.
Okay.
And as soon as I saw the word first, I was like, oh God. That line just popped into my head. I was like, that's it. That's the line.
The disgusting groove, that was a really clever line as well. Like, yeah. Well, so was there an intention, because this actually, question interestingly, like, did you ever have a debate of whether you were going to, because I know you debated having Glory or Gold or not, but was it, I'm not going to have Glory or Gold and I'm going to start the album with Best Band in the Universe?
That's a good question. So what actually ended up happening is I would come up with these songs that I really wanted to have on the album. And what I ended up with was like 4 songs that were serious, over-the-top power metal about serious topics, about like fighting the power as space pirates or going into battle against an evil king or whatever. So I had one group of songs that was very serious, and then I had like 3 or 4 songs that were just jokes.
Uh-huh.
And I felt like I was writing two separate albums, and I felt like I needed a song that would kind of be the flagship for the joke songs on the album.
I see.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I felt like this lighthearted, goofy vibe wasn't gonna work unless I had a way to really make it very clear that some of the songs on the album were a joke, because I was having these like serious songs that would just lead up into like, I have an army of tigers, haha.
Yeah.
And it was like, it just didn't, it didn't connect. But with Best Band in the Universe being the second track on the album, right off the bat, it's kind of like, okay, I have no clue what to expect from every single song, and that's kind of how I want it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and you're allowed to do that, I think, whenever I listen to Glory or Gold, and I think that's a bit more of a serious song. It's still got like a tongue-in-cheek moment, but like it's more solidified in something serious. So then you follow that up with like a really funny, like it's kind of the start. You know how bands will open up with a song, and then they'll open up the concert with like just a good solid, like this is like a freaking great opening track. But then the second song feels like, all right, now we're going. We've settled in, you're strapped in, you're buckled in, you're ready.
Yeah.
That's how it feels to me. So it's like there's the official actual start of Starship Velociraptor, which is Glory or Gold. But I feel like I strap in when Best Band in the Universe comes on. That's when it's like, all right, here we go. Here's the rest of the album moving forward. Like,
yeah, there are lots of people in the chat suggesting other musicians that I could collaborate with that would be a good fit. And I love all of these suggestions, but I don't want to comment on any of them because I don't want my fans to harass any of these great singers. But I would love to look into some of those. But yeah,
I also see Rich in the chat. You want to collaborate with
Hello, Rich?
Do you want to like work with him?
So
I heard he's like, you know.
Now that Rich is in the chat, I think this is a good time to bring this up. I think that Galacticraken poses an interesting opportunity for some of us to just like pop off and have a good time. And I think that, I mean, you know, chat could answer this for me, but I think that our fans love to see us do wacky crap like this. And I think it would be cool to take advantage of that and do a Galacticraken song with Rich doing the craziest solo he's ever done. Do a Galacticraken song with Caleb as the young happy hero. You know what I mean? I started writing a song with you in mind for Galacticraken. I don't know if I told you that, but
no. Please.
I had an idea for a song.
I don't want to seem like Stan, but
have you ever seen Gallivant?
No, but I have been told by my dad and
you need to watch Gallivant.
I need to see Gallivant.
You need to watch Gallivant. It's a musical about a hero that makes fun of musicals about heroes.
Okay.
So it's a picture like a Disney movie plot, but the whole plot is just making fun of Disney movie plots.
All right.
They're singing the whole time. Like the evil king turns out to be gay and really sensitive. And the princess that the hero is trying to save turns out to be like a huge piece of crap that like just like cheats on the hero and stuff. Like it's very it's very plot twists. It's the Onion of Disney movie plots. Okay. Anyway, I had this idea for a song that kind of would be like that, where you would be the voice of this brave hero singing about how he's going to save the world.
Okay.
But it kind of pokes fun at songs like that.
All right.
I don't know.
That'll be my character study. I'll go and check out Gallivant. And then you just let me know when that's ramped up and I'll go watch it. And I know plenty of people want me to watch it, so I will definitely go do that.
I'm talking too much again. I'm sorry.
Nope. There's never such a thing as John. I've not run into John talking too much. Maybe it'll happen one day, but I haven't run into that yet. But we're going to move right on to Settle It With a Sword Fight. So it just keeps the energy up. This would be like a fun, like if you were to like redo, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like if like Richard Simmons were to like come back and like, this would be like the song, like he needs to do like a Settle It With a Sword Fight, like exercise video with this vibe. It'd be really intense, but like, I mean, that'd be a workout with actual swords. Anyway.
This guitar solo is a synthesizer made by Solemn Tones called the Odin 2. Shout out. This is one of the first songs I finished on the album. I'm very happy with it. That was so hard to do that vocal part.
Killing each other all night. Like it's something that keeps happening to one another. Like you just keep dying.
Yep. I kind of wanted to like make fun of those 80s songs about like, yeah, we're going to the bar, we're gonna fight. Yeah. Like it's kind of like a poking
It's
fun
not
at
fighting
those,
all
you know what I
night.
mean?
It's like killing each other.
Yeah, yeah.
All night.
Like people are dying.
Yeah, people are dying multiple times over and over again.
Yeah, yeah.
Multiple deaths.
Like any 80s song that has the line like hit the lights, you know, like
The
referring
actual
to like a,
Metallica song hit the lights.
yeah, yeah. Maybe I'll do a cover contest, man. Maybe I'll release the instrumentals for this album and do like a cover
You're
contest.
gonna kill that epic.
Yeah, that's fun. Rich, I would pay you to try and play this guitar solo. I would be very impressed because I did write it to be unplayable. This key change is one of my favorite parts of the album right here. And then this key change here coming up, so much fun. I learned a lot about key changes writing these songs.
Ooh, that high note.
Backup vocals just rise up. I'm so happy with how that part turned out.
Of course. It's like there's not much time to like breathe in the first 3 songs. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
really,
it's just
it's just like a balls to the wall, like just a visceral like assault. But to some degree, like if you're making a bunch of the songs like almost unplayable on the actual instruments themselves, like it's going to feel like an onslaught because it's because it's got to be fast. It has to be technical. You know, that's also some of the, now I got in mind what Brandon said and I can't get it out of my head. And I'm thinking like, man, John, like, yeah, this is like John's vocals here in particular.
I pulled out all my tricks for this.
Like,
I held nothing back.
There's so much more character that you just have been like not showing, like not just keeping under the sleeve.
Like I feel like such a dick saying that, but it's like I really do hold back. Like there's really not much room for me to have fun singing one of these anime covers or what, like, there's some songs where I get to have fun. Like the villain stuff is really good in my range. But some of these like anime songs, like I'm trying to think of like an anime song that does this. Like the new Attack on Titan opening, there's just no room for you to do anything when you're singing that in English.
Yeah.
We are in the shadows of the giants. Like it's such a rigidly like
yes.
Like, and when I'm writing my own vocals, when I'm writing my own lyrics, like I get to make room to do stuff. You know what I mean? It's like,
it's catered directly to your voice. You're not emulating anything or fitting into any sort of structure that someone else has made. It's all
people are all talking about the key changes now, which is good. I would love to have a fan base that does nothing but talk about my key changes.
Well, and everything you've said today, if people have been here the entire time and is it being proven in real time with the album, is it's like when even if you don't know the theory about what's happened, like you don't know it, you can feel it and you can enjoy it. And it's like, go and learn it.
Yeah, dude, my music, short little sidebar. I'm talking too much again, but my composition teacher, before I dropped out of music school, said something to me. Gary Rue, he's a genius songwriter. I'm not going to say the name of the school because they went out of business for really, really sketchy things that they did. But Gary Rue, my songwriting teacher, said something to me that somehow stuck itself in the back of my mind. He said, I don't know why people don't just John, you have to just modulate more. Modulating is another word for changing the key. You have to modulate more, and it's really easy. Just go up or down a minor third. So a minor third is 3 keys on a piano, up or down. It's like, John, just go up or down a third, and it'll work no matter what you do.
If you want to play it, you just have to wait a second for the mic to calm, and then you can
let me
display it.
Let me try to do this. If it'll work. Okay, music theory lesson. Okay. Do you mind if I do a quick sidebar here, Caleb? Do you
John,
care?
there have been many times where I wish people could see the stuff that I've seen when you do this, so please.
Can you guys hear the piano?
Yes, we can hear it.
Okay, so everybody always says, oh, I don't know music theory. I don't know music theory. I'm going to play a pattern of notes, and I'm willing to bet that every single person in the chat can complete the pattern. Right? So that is music theory, and you already know it because your brain is already very good at recognizing patterns. You just don't realize it, right? So all music theory and everything about what notes work well together is based off of that principle. Your brain can recognize patterns and predict and anticipate patterns in frequencies. So those notes sound the same, right? It sounds like the same note, but one of them is higher, right, chat? The reason for that is because the frequency is exactly double. The sound wave frequency, like the hertz, is actually exactly double. Your brain can tell that. Even if you don't consciously realize it, your brain can recognize that pattern. So all of music is built around this, right? So what I played before the pattern, that's a major scale. And what we've just established, based on what all of you could already tell, is that the 7th note of the scale always wants to complete the cycle and get to the 8th note of the scale, right? 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wants to go to 8. And the same is true even if you add notes to that, right? So if I play a chord in this key, when a song is in a key, that means that it's based on this pattern. It's based on this set of notes that I just played. That's all that means when somebody says a song is in this key. That means that we're basing the song on these notes instead of these notes, right? So if you have a chord that contains the 7th note, that chord, your brain will still be able to detect the seventh note of that pattern, and your brain will still want that seventh note to complete the cycle and go up to that eighth note. So. Right? So you extrapolate on this concept and you take this human psychology thing of what notes and what patterns your brain can recognize, and then the seventh note can lead to the eighth note there, but the seventh note can also lead to the eighth note here. Right? So you can complete the pattern in several different ways. Right? So now we're in a different key. And all that I had to do to transition from one key to another is finish the pattern and let your brain want to hear that seventh note. And now we're in a different key. And mathematically, the way that works is that the keys on the piano, or the music key, the music notes that all music is built on, the colors that music is built on, is built so that seventh note will finish the cycle very well and give you flexibility to transition from a key up or down a major third or a minor third. Because chords that are based on those notes will allow that cycle to complete. And that's music theory. And anybody can learn it, but the way that most people teach music theory is to mindlessly make you memorize stuff instead of breaking it down like this, and that's why everybody hates music theory.
Dang. Well, please keep the keyboard nearby for other potential moments like that. But also,
that was my only music theory bit that I had in the chamber.
If there are more, I know we will. I am very curious, and everyone seemed to very much enjoy that. Very much enjoy that.
I hope so.
And then we can see everything John just said. I'm almost certain that Hyperspeed has an example of it. So
yes.
We'll transition.
If you break it down, yes.
Right into Hyperspeed. Here we go.
When I wrote this riff, it was originally going to be low. It was originally going to be like it was going to be like this low part, and I couldn't get it to work.
Oh man.
Hey, we got Halcyon in the chat. Hey Halcyon, amazing band, check them out. Halcyon is great.
Agreed.
I have to pay the compliment back to them as well because they've been reacting to our covers on their stream, so now everyone go subscribe to Halcyon.
Sub to Halcyon.
Yeah, we gotta collab more, boys and girl.
How many layers is this, John, of vocals?
Probably like 12.
You say that like that's a low amount.
That is a low amount. Peter Hollins does like several hundred. He's crazy.
Goodness.
Granted, that's all of it. That's his whole thing is hundreds.
That's true. That's all the instruments.
This song the chorus of this song is all built around what's called a Picardy third. So we're in a minor key, but we're going to use a major third in the minor key, and a lot of classic rock songs do that. It's the speed of light. That part resolves to the major third, which gives it this interesting modal feel. Yeah, so this chorus modulates up a minor third. It's exactly what I was just talking about.
What you were just talking about.
Minor chord, and then resolving up a fourth or down a fifth.
It feels so good on this part when it went resolved.
Yeah, dude, because it's literally that same thing. You treat that last chord before the key change as a 5 chord, leading to a 1 chord in the new key. This part's fun. This part kind of happened by accident.
Vocoder?
I love that vocoder, dude. Oh, I love vocoders.
Is this guitar also?
Yes.
Yes.
This is a synthesizer.
A synthesizer. Sounds like a nice Spanish guitar. Like
up a minor third. Another key change. Yeah, this is not a real guitar. This is a synthesized guitar by Ample Sound, I think, or maybe not. Let me find it.
Much to the frustration of many purists.
People should not be limited by what their fingers are capable of doing on an instrument. People should be able to write any music that they want with all the tools that they have available. Thank you so much, Alicine. That means the world. Yes, it is Ample Sound acoustic guitar plugin. I do the signature Jonathan Young descending piano like. I do that like in like 5 songs in this album.
That sound like some.
That's like the only cool lick that I know, so I did it like 5 times on the album.
I think a lot of people would think that you have a lot of cool licks, and they wouldn't know what to call them.
Well, it's the only cool lick on the album that I can play very well.
Okay, I see. Like
many of the other licks are just computer or whatever.
Well, that does kind of lead to a question then. Like, how much did you play? I mean, yes, it's all synthesized and it's not real instruments, but it's like, how much did you play?
That's a good question.
And how much was just straight program with your hand? Like,
I actually had a pretty important distinction here. I think that I can play all of the synthesizer solos on the album, the actual solo sections that are synthesizers.
Yes.
But I cannot play any of the guitar solo sections.
Okay. Like, actually, quite
Except
literally,
for that
have you
acoustic guitar one.
Well, have you tried?
No, but they're crazy. The guitar solo.
Imagine I'm not doing that.
The guitar solo on "Settle It with a Sword Fight" is like stupid. Rich is one of the best guitar players I know, and he even said, if you scroll up in the chat, he was like, I don't know if I could play that. And if Rich can't play it, I don't know if anybody can play it. And that part is also, this is kind of hard to explain, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but solo sections, or excuse me, solo parts written for piano tend to do slightly different things because of the way that your fingers move on a keyboard than solo sections on a guitar do. A guitar, it's very easy to arpeggiate with sweep picking because you can jump up these intervals without moving your fingers barely at all. So you can do a crazy arpeggio just by doing this, and you don't have to move your hands. But if I want to play that same arpeggio on a piano, I have to do that. Like it's crazy the amount of like. But there are other things that the piano does easier than the guitar. So the guitar sections are written to kind of feel like guitar parts, but that also means that they are even harder to play on piano.
You know, it's funny you say that you're like, oh yeah, you can arpeggiate on a guitar just like easily by doing sweep picking. Yet, as I understand it, sweep picking is one of the hardest things to do on a guitar.
It's very difficult, but I've said this other times before, but this is probably one of the most public times that I'm going to say it. It's like learning a very difficult move in a video game. It's just pressing a button in the perfect way. That's all it is.
So it's like Bloodborne on like the hardest difficulty is what I'm hearing.
Like if
Or
if
Dark
you
Souls.
can learn to speed run a video game or like 100% a video game if you memorize a boss fight and you know exactly what buttons to press at the exact right moment, that's exactly how you learn how to play guitar solos. You just learn except these are your buttons. You know what I mean? You have to learn, you just have to memorize which buttons to press at the right time. And that is all that there is to playing fast.
You know what's funny though is it's like an even harder difficulty to some degree than like a Dark Souls or a Bloodborne, because you don't just have 11 or 12 buttons. You have 80 something buttons. But it's principally.
But these buttons, these are the same as these buttons. So you have 12 buttons that are copy pasted in different places.
Mm-hmm.
So there's really only 12 buttons. And the same goes for guitar. So
I think you've inspired hundreds of gamers in the chat.
I hope so.
That they can actually play music.
Seriously, because people don't think about that. If you can learn to play a video game very skillfully and move your fingers to exactly the right button, it's the same thing. It's literally the exact same concept.
Just mix it with some theory and
you don't even need to learn theory. To you just need to know how to read what buttons to press. Because there are like guitar tabs and sheet music that is literally a guide of which buttons to press, and you just have to know how to read that. And then because I know tons of musicians who can't write at all, but they can read perfectly, and if you show them what buttons to press, they'll do it perfectly first try.
Oh man.
That's there's different types of musicians. There's technical musicians and there's writing musicians. Like I am the type of musician where I struggle to read music, but I understand a lot of the theory of how to write music. But then other musicians, they are the masters of knowing exactly what buttons to press.
Mm-hmm. Someone in the chat's like, but what if I'm a button masher though? Then what happens?
Then you're playing speed metal.
There you go. That's not bad.
Seriously,
speed metal.
That's
dope.
That's literally what you do to play a lot of like speed metal songs on the drums too. You just do this.
Well, we are going to move on to Kara, my wife's favorite song on the album.
Yes,
this is her absolute favorite song. She and to be fair, I think she's a little biased because she loves Tigers, and I told her the name of the song when it was coming up when we were listening to it in the car, and she's like,
she loved it before she heard it.
Yeah, she loved it before she heard it. She was like, I'm sure I'm gonna love this song. So
that's awesome.
But no, it's a great one. So here's Army of Tigers. Oh man, this one kicks you in the teeth too.
Yeah.
Like you thought Hyperspeed was like a little chill, like just a little. Nope. This is like borderline like thrash metal. Like this is thrashy.
I call it very heavy power metal.
Like if that's just like an open like like I hear that in a lot of thrash metal music.
Well, it's the gallop. And power metal does that a lot. The gallop. That's like classic power metal.
No, I forgot to unpause the video.
You're good. Someone in the chat says the combo of synth and guitar are great. Yes, and there's a lot of layering going on too. This riff is a guitar synthesizer and then like 5 other synthesizers underneath it.
This song feels like it straddles the line between that serious but also very funny. Like
it's kind of like a parody. It's kind of like a parody of power metal. Like let's find a way to describe something so stupid like a bunch of tigers riding into battle against the sun.
Yeah.
Let's find a way to make that as metal as possible. You know, like that's kind of the joke.
Well, it's funny too because when you read the title of the song, going into it, you're like Army of Tigers. You're like kind of waiting for that to make sense because everything you're saying up to that point doesn't reference tigers in any capacity. And then you're like, but I have a plan, and you're like, wait, is this what he's going with? And it's like,
yeah. Someone in the chat says, "Is the sun a metaphor for something?" No, the song is just a joke. But I make some metaphorical jokes about like how that last pre-chorus. I kind of crack a joke about how some people think that if you believe in yourself hard enough, you can do anything, and that's just not true because you can't defeat the sun no matter how much you believe in yourself.
So this is ultimately, this song's actually a tragedy because they're not going to defeat the actual sun.
Yeah, okay, so it is a metaphor. It's an observation of the futility of the human condition.
Starship Velociraptor, everybody. Not at all a philosophical commentary, anything. None of that. All jokes.
I did a weird time signature change there that I kind of like backed myself into a corner with, but somehow managed to get out of.
The key change.
That one's just up a whole step, I think.
If you're keeping score at home on your key change Starship Velociraptor bingo card, I think we're at like a 14 at the moment.
I need somebody to make a video for me with a key change counter. Starship Velociraptor, but it's just the key changes. And it's just like 2-second clip of each key change and has like a counter. Somebody in chat. That's a fun song. So
in my question, being a huge fan of that song, when did that song come along? Because I think at traditional albums, and this is not a traditional album, but like in traditional album structure, it's like usually you kind of put like your not weaker tracks isn't the right word, but like these like listen, you come out with your bangers first. You kind of want to end the album with a nice bang. So your middle tracks are like ideas sometimes, experiments, or flesh out, just to keep you going through it. Like, where did Army of Tigers come from? Like, where did the inception in the album writing cycle come?
Yeah, so I it was kind of two-part. The first part was that opening riff.
Yes.
Like, I kind of... What key are we in?
Also, I think the piano tries to like gate you sometimes because it might be a little hot.
Like something like that. I wrote that. I wrote this like, and then I was just like, okay, this is a fun synth part. Let's put it on the album. And then I think I was just like sitting there thinking of like the most absurd but catchy phrases that I could write a chorus around. And I came up with like that first chorus line.
I command an army of tigers. That just came from sitting.
It has to go with the melody though. Like, so I didn't just come up with like, okay, I command an army. It was like, I command. Like, it was like, it was like, okay, that's catchy. Let's run with that. And then I just, you take this stupid idea and you just like...
So the riff came first, but then the actual very next line that you came up with for lyrically was...
And the chorus hook came first, yeah.
But so that's... Okay, so like Army of Tigers came... The rest of the song built around the phrase that you came up with, I command an army of tigers.
I think it was like that for most of the songs. Like, Settle It With a Sword Fight started with like, settle it with a sword fight. And that was like the whole thing. And then even the opening of that song, the ba, 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 like it still does that motif. And then like the For Glory or Gold, that all started with like the For Glory or Gold. Like that, it all starts with this like thesis statement of the song, which is usually like the first or last line of the chorus.
So you, at least as we've up to this point, it seems like a lot of your writing originates at the chorus. Like your songs build out from there.
Well, yeah, and I think that's the way that Western music is meant to be written, is with the chorus as the thesis statement of the song. And I think now that I'm looking at the album, I think almost every song on the album, most of the songs stemmed out from the title line.
Yeah.
Like if you think about each of these songs, like the chorus line is like the
You're
root
right.
of the
You're
song.
right. No, I'm seeing
You know?
it. Well, that had to be. Well, I'm curious then about eventually actually about track 7, but we'll get there when we get there. But we'll jump right into Storm the Castle then.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. I have other questions that are coming up, but we'll keep the music going. There we go.
Thank you for all the kind words in the chat, everybody. I'm so glad that people are liking this album.
Army of Tigers Against the Sun is just a modern Don Quixote.
Okay.
This is an old reference.
I think that people are really tired of bluntly political songs. Like I love Green Day, but I think that the idea of having a song that name drops George Bush, you know, like they were doing that, and like I love Green Day, but I feel like especially in today's culture with, you know, video games and escapism and role playing and all this stuff, I think that a lot of people have not realized how effective it could be to go through the fantasy lens or the science fiction lens with music to talk about important world issues. That's pretty much this whole song. That's about all I have to say about this song.
This sequence is like dripping with like character, how you sing it. It's like borderline spoken but sung.
Yeah.
It's like you can visualize the person singing in this like bridge portion. It's like I want this person to exist. I want to see them and hear them singing it and see their facial expressions. Like pulled a lot out of just how it was sung.
Thank you,
The
man.
twixt, like you get to do a lot with that word. Just like,
Yeah,
it's so
yeah.
much you could just.
Not many
inject
people
into
use that word, you know?
It's
like
been a
there's
while
all
since
these
I've heard
fun
it.
words. Yeah.
Yeah, no one could. I mean, I guess someone could play that double blast beat on drums. Like,
Yeah, you see what I mean?
yeah, I mean, you'd be so tired.
I know one or two drummers that can do it, but it's not normal.
Wasn't someone gonna do the full album with drums?
He did.
How did he do with that?
It was amazing.
Oh wait, he actually did it.
Yeah, I have the
Oh
video. I
my
was gonna
gosh.
post it on the Villainous Music channel. Mr. Greggles.
Mr. Greggles.
Mr. Greggles. Yes, that's his name on Twitch. Shout out to Mr. Greggles.
I paused, by the way.
You can keep it going.
Well, mainly because I want to comment on you in a bizarre turn of events. You did not modulate going into that last chorus.
Yeah, this is one of the only songs
You
that
did
doesn't
not.
have.
I now that I'm
yeah.
like thinking about it, I'm like, oh, it's not. Where'd it go? Like, it's not there.
Yeah, this is one of the only songs that doesn't have crazy modulations. So Mr. Greggles did 1,000 times better than I thought he would, considering that he only had 3 days.
That's
He heard the
crazy.
album and then 3 days later attempted to play through all of it. So it wasn't perfect, but it was better. It's better than I could do.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it was really, really good.
Well, you know what? This is actually really encouraging because if one, more time, you'd get better at it. But two, if you ever decided to go on the road with Galactic Kraken.
Yeah, there you go.
Literally a guy right there who
Yeah.
can play the album in some capacity. And all you got to do is like dress him up a bit, put some prosthetic horns on him, and then he's the alien. He's the alien drummer.
That's
so
it.
like,
that's it, man.
I don't know. It's like it's an audition tape to some degree. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like so impressive. Oh no, that's super dope. Okay, well with Starship Velociraptor in the point, also a lot of people are making, and they're making this whether you intended it to or not, but a lot of people are saying this that song Storm the Castle felt very Sabaton-ish. Was that an intention?
I can see why they would say that because it's a lot of the same techniques, but I didn't go into it trying to make it sound like Sabaton. No. But yeah, it's a lot of the same chords, the same drums and guitar patterns and stuff that I'm using. So I take that as a compliment.
Well, I think the big differentiator, at least in all these, is you're so. I only know this word because it's the only word I know how to use to describe it, but very theatrical. Like it is a character singing. Like this is a extremely emotive.
Thank you, man.
And where are we with like? Because you said originally it started as a story album. Is there a story at this point? Is there an actual story running through this? Or are these just like instances, like episodic?
I wrote these songs to stand by themselves as individual songs. I abandoned the idea of having a story for the album very early. You know, I was going to have this story about a bunch of space pirates that are on a quest to seek out the golden moon.
Yes, I remember that.
Which had the secrets of the universe inside of it. And then they find out that there was no golden moon at the end, and it was...
the friends they made along the way.
Yeah, it was the friends they made along the way, or something stupid. But I found that I was writing myself into a corner, and I wasn't able to write some of these standalone songs like Army of Tigers. Army of Tigers doesn't fit into any overarching story about a bunch of space pirates. It's just its own standalone joke song. And I found that I was limiting myself by the idea of trying to turn it into a story. So
yeah, you know, it's interesting because I'm listening through the songs in the thing you just said. You know, like I'm sort of imagining it like it's this crew that is going across the galaxy and trying to. They're pirates and they have these missions and the things they go on. So I'm envisioning it like, oh well, Starship Velociraptor is this crew and these are their stories.
I think it'd be fun to try sometime to try to write myself into that corner and see if I can write myself out of it. But I didn't want to be limited like that for this project, because then, especially as the first album with this project, that would, if people come to expect that every album is going to be a story, then I'm never going to be I would never be able to do individual songs like Army of Tigers that don't fit into a story.
I see.
Because the whole punchline of Army of Tigers is that they're going to die. That's a stupid idea, you know. Like that's the joke, and then the story's over. So
well, with Starship Velociraptor, you said everything kind of comes out of the chorus. It's the thesis statement. Like Starship Velociraptor is the name of the album, and so it's like, what do you do there? There's not like a fun like, oh, storm the castle, Army of Tigers. This is the jetpack race. Like this is like a vague concept. Yeah, like Starship Velociraptor. Like how do you write
I see them
one?
as sketches, but like the music industry is based on singles right now anyway. So I would also be I would be shooting myself in the foot with trying to make this project successful if I couldn't release every song as a single. But that's another conversation about like how I've tried to make this project accessible and have the potential for this project to succeed in the modern music world. I did make some changes to the project with that in mind, but I don't think that it hurt the project because I don't care if the album has a story. That was just one of many ideas that I had. So
I see. So with number 7, with the 7th track, Starship Velociraptor, you know, going into that, was that just, I'm not writing about an instance or a happenstance. I'm writing about the idea.
If we're talking about this song, this was one of the only songs on the album that was written while the concept was still to have a story. So Starship Velociraptor was going to be a part of the story where the heroes of the story buy this spaceship that's supposed to be the fastest spaceship in the galaxy or something.
Well, it kind of feels like that.
That was going to be part of the story. But, yeah, you know, I think it still works better on its own. because like how do you bridge the gap, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not about to release a bunch of songs that have 3-minute transitions where they take off in the starship and they, you know, because like how do we transition from they bought the spaceship and now they're on their next adventure?
Yeah.
What happens in between there? Like like how do we bridge that gap unless I pay like, and you know, if we're telling this story, either I have to make that transition with 3 minutes of fluff in the album, which will never get any sales.
Mm-hmm.
Or I have to pay an animator $5,000 to animate 3 minutes of an animated short film to bridge that gap.
Yeah.
And it's just like it becomes such a convoluted, bloated process to try and tie all those threads together that I just want to focus on the music. You know what I mean? So
that in mind, we'll jump right into Starship Velociraptor, the title track.
Yeah.
Starship lately, something with comfort, speed, and style. I'll get you to agree that maybe there's just one surface worth your while. Stupid as the core reactor to make the light years feel like miles.
Volta Bass did the album artwork, and he's working on a music video for this song. He's an amazing animator. Shout out to Volta Bass. I wanted to try to give back a little bit and bring some independent animators into this project to put their own vision to these songs.
You know, if you want to, you could just like take this song, the structure of the lyrics, and like sell it to a car company to like.
That was the idea. That was the idea. Is that like, well, because here's the thing, man. Like, I was thinking about this. Like, people don't think about when people think about fantasy stories, and when people think about science fiction stories, they never think about the car salesman. You know what I mean? Like,
I guess.
Well, I mean, I guess they do, because like in Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, you technically meet a used car salesman in Star Wars, but like people tend to like sweep those concepts under the rug. Like people don't like the idea of used car salesmen existing in their fantasy world, because they want to escape that.
Yeah.
You know, like they want to escape capitalism and big corporations into this fantasy world where it's just heroes victorious against villains. So part of the concept of this song was, once we build spaceships, you know, Toyota is going to have ads for spaceships. And it's not going to be like Star Wars. Like it's going to be like it's going to be car ads, but with spaceships. You know what I mean? Like
your guarantee.
Like nobody thinks about that. Like, you know, you got to get an insurance policy for you. Like, what happens when your spaceship crashes, man? You're going to need an insurance policy. Like, you know, nobody's thinking about this stuff. It's world building. Come on.
I mean, 12-month limited warranty. Not bad.
That's not
bad.
I don't think that's a very good warranty on a spaceship.
Well, I mean, maybe you're like one of the better ones. Maybe this guy's like one of the better deals in the galaxy. Maybe everyone's given like a 6-month or a 3-month.
Yeah.
Maybe Starship Velociraptor is like actually the best. Maybe. Or are you implying with the lore here that Starship Velociraptor is actually not like that great of a starship?
That's kind of the joke. Because in the lyrics, like, you know, that's part of the joke I was trying to make, is that like in the second verse of the song is like, this spaceship has hardwood floors. Like, what?
The
Like,
24
no one-
bathrooms, or I forgot
like
how many it was.
who is writing science fiction about like people advertising? But like that's how they would do it.
Yeah.
Like if humans made spaceships next year, it would be the Honda Star Runner. Like leather coated seats so you can travel to Jupiter in comfort. Like that's what it would be. You know?
So you can travel to
Nobody's
Jupiter.
writing that. Like this is like largely untreaded because again, like nobody wants to think about that.
No one's writing it because it's not nnecessary yet.
Not
So
only
you're
is it
just
not
beating into the
necessary,
punch.
but it's unappealing. The idea that spaceships would get ruined by car dealers is like yucky. Like I don't want to go to that imaginary world. I don't want to live in the fantasy galaxy where they have hardwood floors in spaceships that are really badly made that break down after a year, and you have to bring it into the spaceship factory and pay $2,000 to get it fixed.
No, you have to take it to the
that's what it would be.
manufacturer. You can't take it to like a shop. You have to take it like to the manufacturer to get the real part and pay extra money. That's
Yeah,
you can't do it off site.
Yeah, like, is there going to be a AAA for spaceships? Like, I don't know. Like, nobody's thinking about this. Only just recently, there are a couple TV shows and stuff that I have heard of that deal with the concepts of stuff like this happening. Like, Star Citizen is a game that I have very mixed feelings about because the company making the game has done some kind of bad, greedy things. But that's a spaceship simulator video game that it's like, and that's the concept, is that like you get a spaceship and you fly it around doing space missions, but then if your spaceship blows up, you have to make an insurance claim on your spaceship with this big spaceship corporation.
I don't know.
And it's really interesting. Like I think that world building is really cool.
Yeah, the game sounds fun right up until it crosses into like real world territory and no longer escapism.
That's the pitch of the game, though, right? It's like a real world. Like
I don't want.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
How do you
That's
make
the thing.
insurance claims fun? Like when it gets to that point in the game, does it
You
just become
don't.
paperworks and PDFs and freaking
Well,
Google searching to figure out answers?
In the game, when your spaceship blows up, you respawn and you just hit a button that says "Make an insurance claim on your spaceship," and then a new spaceship is delivered from your spaceship. They don't make you do any paperwork.
If only real life could be that simple when you have a car. Like, have to do something with your car, you just hit a button from your insurance website and they just handle it, and you don't have to have phone calls and stuff. John, the more you talk about your album, the more it seems like you're like this album that maybe for people it's like escapism, kind of like a fun moment, like sci-fi fantasy. It's like you embedded in it like harsh realities. It's like you're pulling people out of the
that's
fantasy.
The idea, right? Is that like we got to bring it back down to earth somehow. Because
we're in space right now. In at this point,
right?
Yeah, we're flying in space, so we got.
Because I think that it's too many people are writing about cliched real world topics in music, like I said before on the stream. But at the same time, too many people are writing about just pure escapism, which ignores reality. And then we have these two types of art. One, which is fatiguing, songs about being addicted to drugs, and that gets tiring after a while. And then on the other hand, you have songs about, whatever, a fantasy world where everybody parties every weekend and the heroes always win. And we got to bridge that gap somehow. You know what I mean, man? Like not many people are trying to bridge that gap, because you have the serious musicians that take themselves seriously. You have the joke musicians that make joke songs. You have the fantasy musicians that make fantasy riding into battle songs. And there's not much overlap, I feel.
And it starts with the Starship Velociraptor scenario of selling a skeezy used.
Yeah. Well, that was part
salesman.
that was part of the idea of the album, right? Is like let's explore these concepts that no one is exploring, while also still making kick-ass music. And many people would think that that's impossible to write a song about a spaceship used car salesman and have the song be a friggin' banger. You know what I mean? Like many musicians would laugh at that idea, but I see it as a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I see it as a way to show that craftsmanship is important. If you can write a good song about a used car salesman, you can write a good song about anything.
Anything at all.
That's the mission statement. Anyway.
Well, we're going to move into track 8 then, to Man the Cannons.
Yes.
Another one that kicks you in the teeth. Oh, this was Kara's second favorite. Now I'm recalling
Nice.
it, yeah. It's kind of like a Celtic vibe to some degree.
Yes. Yep, that was I did some research to emulate the chords and the melodic patterns that kind of music uses. And I love this kind of music. I've been listening to like pirate metal and sea shanties for years, and it was very lucky timing that sea shanties somehow became popular on the internet right before I released this album. So
I would headbang my head on a place to like 50% of these songs.
yeah,
It's that really quick, like that headbang too. Although this part you could do like the traditional like head swing.
it's
get
also
long hair.
the 6/8 time. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. The triplet bass.
Yeah.
That makes it feel very like folky.
Yeah.
And I could make music exactly like Man the Cannons for the rest of my life, and I would be a very happy man. Like I could do nothing but Celtic pirate metal exactly like this, and I would be so happy. My heart would be so happy if that could be my career. Yeah, people in the chat saying it feels like a shanty. That's because it is. That's the whole point. I can actually play this part. This is just rolling my hands on the black keys here.
That was up and down.
Yeah. It's a pentatonic minor scale, which means that if you transpose a keyboard, you can do it just on the black keys. This is my favorite song to drum on the album. Sometimes I drum as like cardio or something, and I can't actually play this one on drums. Most of them I can't play very well on drums.
So you're adding another harmony there. What would you call that?
It's just like you have the main part, and then you do like parallel thirds or fourths.
Uh-huh.
So you just like do...
Because I hadn't heard it for most of the song until then.
Yeah, that's like one of the first times that I do that harmony, but it's just to add tension and add complexity to the part.
Uh-huh.
You basically do the same part, but parallel and lower. and then those two lines move together in harmony with each other.
Uh-huh.
And as long as you're only hitting notes that exist within the key that you're in, it always works.
Oh, well, you said in the middle of that song that you can actually play that part, and you said you just go down. It seems much hard. It sounds much harder than it is. So how can you?
So in concept, since the song is built around a pentatonic scale, which is a 5-note scale instead of an 8-note scale, you can use just the black keys. There's 5 black keys before you repeat and get back to the first one, but higher, the octave. So if I play that part, I can play that part on the black keys, and then I can play the same part, and this is oversimplifying to any music people that are listening. Hypothetically, I can play pretty much the same part 2 black keys lower, and it'll sound good. It'll sound like a harmony, as long as I'm just using those same 5 black keys.
Okay.
Because they'll line up with each other.
Yeah.
And they'll always create either a third or a fourth interval, which are intervals that are harmonious. It's a good harmony. That's oversimplifying it, but if you know what key you're in, you can always create a good harmony line by utilizing the parallel movement of the notes that make up the key that you're in, or the scale that the song is based on. Okay, and does that happen a lot in Celtic music? That particular? Well, that's how all harmony works, but that's how you build harmonies for almost every. The only other way to build harmonies is to just use chords and just play. You just have the harmonies sing whatever chord is happening at the time, and then with some transitions. I see. But Celtic, to your question, Celtic music is very much based on this sort of modal pentatonic scale, which is slightly different than the minor scale that more modern music is based on. Yeah. And if you wanted to write a Celtic sounding song, you could analyze what combinations of notes most Celtic music uses. And then as long as you use those similar combination of notes, now you know how to make a Celtic song. It's no different than saying Indian food likes to use a lot of this type of spice, and now you can cook Indian food. It's very similar. I for me, and I don't know if it's because of my love of food, but the food comparisons work especially well. I love the food comparison. It works especially well. Yeah, because it's the same idea. You know what I mean? No, it absolutely is the same. All right. Well, we move on to your. Would you call this your single? Would you call this the single? Yeah. Jetpack Race? Yeah, I'd call it that. All right. Well, most people here have probably heard it at this point, but we're doing a full album listen through, so we're going to listen to Jetpack Race again. For like the probably 20th time I've listened to Jetpack Race, but never tires of it. I appreciate that. Never tire. Thank you for the kind words, Brandon. This is another example of that same concept I was talking about. This song is based around like some weird Dorian modal scale or something. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's the same scale that a lot of like Mario Kart and Sonic songs are based off of. So a lot of people will comment and say, "This sounds like Mario Kart. It sounds like Sonic the Hedgehog music," because it's the same combination of notes that you use to build the songs. Instead of using a regular, the way that works, instead of using a regular major scale, you use a major scale that borrows one note from a minor scale or something like that. Again, that's oversimplifying, but if you pick those notes wisely, and if you know which notes to pick to emulate a certain style based on what scales those styles are using, you can craft something like that. I'd like to shout out Trey Watson Music. He's a good friend, and he helped me to stumble upon the Korg M1 synthesizer, which is based on a keyboard that the company Korg made in the 80s that was used in many 80s hits. And you can buy a digital version of the Korg 80s keyboard called the M1 on their website for like $100. And this album would not be the same if I hadn't found that Korg synthesizer.
I bet you can't play this part, John. Yeah, this part's way too hard.
I messed up.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, the M1 synthesizer is very dated. It sounds like a tacky 80s video game, but it completely changed the game for me, man. Like,
Having access to those tacky 80s sounds, it lit a fire under my butt. Sometimes it's better to find worse synthesizers. Or not worse, but sometimes using tacky sounding stuff in your music can actually be a very valuable tool.
Okay, so I have to point out that there is maybe some of the more like depressing lyrics in any of the songs is like tucked into maybe the happiest song in the album.
Okay, yeah.
Like,
well, I mean,
there's I think maybe people, if they're like digging, like looking, feeling it, they're like, oh shoot, like.
I see what you're saying. It's a song about escapism. It's a song about being sick of the monotony of a profit-driven, efficiency-driven world, and wanting to just live.
Well, the line there's something like just despairing and like what's the word, like deep in your own thought that like what was the particular line? Even altogether we're alone. Like that is lonely. That is a lonely line.
So I want to,
I don't necessarily disagree, but I don't want to talk about this for too long, but like I'm not a religious person, and one of the biggest things, like I have a history of like when I left, because I was raised religious, and when I left and put that behind me, when I decided that wasn't for me anymore, and I'm not going to get into a religious debate here on stream, but when I realized that I was not religious and that was not for me, many family members of mine, their first gut reaction to me telling them that I didn't believe in God anymore was to say, well, then what's the point? What's the purpose of life? Mm-hmm. If there's no heaven, like what are we doing? Like what's the point of not just killing yourself? Like that sounds morbid, but like so I think that there is a beauty and wisdom in creating your own purpose in life. And that's part of what this, like, even though this is like a goofy, fun, wacky song, that's part of what the song is about, is like, let's find reasons to live for. Mm-hmm. Like, and I think that's awesome. I think that the idea of creating your own meaning, that's the human condition, man. And yes, maybe there is no purpose in the way that we want there to be, but that doesn't have to be a bad thing, you know? I don't know.
That's all I have to say about that.
Well, nonetheless, I find that the the moment it's like all of that being said, and then hey, it's the jetpack race. Like we're it's the freaking jetpack race.
Like screw it, man. Like have some fun. Like, you know, I don't know, man.
Well, it's it's at the very least, you know, differences aside, like it is thoughts that everyone ponders over at some point. Like the second verse in particular, like that's not a thought that escapes anybody at any point in their existence.
Because when you're happy and when you're surrounded by friends and when you're enjoying life and doing things that you love to do, you don't ever think about what's the purpose. I mean, obviously, like there's chemical imbalances like depression and there's all these other things, but generally speaking, if you are living a fulfilled life, then I guess what I'm saying is if you're working a crappy office job 9 to 5, you're going to think about like, what's the point a lot more. You know what I mean? Like if you have this job where your only purpose is to be a dollar sign for some big company, I think that our brains are not built for that kind of lifestyle. We are not machines meant to make profit. So I think that the more that our society focuses on only trying to make profit, the more we struggle with the idea of what is the gosh darn point, you know? So that's what the song's about.
Oh, well, see, I've often thought that I wanted to pick your brain about it because I was like, no, this song's got a lot more going on than just like, let me go on a fun jetpack race. Like there's more to it than that.
Yeah, well, because I don't know, man. Like when people try to be deep and philosophical in a song, it's like many people think that you can't do that while also having fun. Like part of life is feeling happy and feeling fulfilled.
Yeah.
And having fun is part of that. But so many musicians that I see are so pretentious and snooty about philosophical songs have to be deep and edgy and sad and depressed. And that's the only way that most musicians are capable of being deep.
Or that's the only way it manifests itself. Like that's the only way you can have those kinds of thoughts.
And
like,
and you know, it's like people make this distinction where if you write a song about having fun, you can't, like, that's shallow. And many songs about having fun are shallow, but you can also write a song about like just the philosophy of being happy. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's valid. Anyway.
Well, I think there's a couple people in the chat who are super excited for this next one, 10,000 Light Years. So we'll keep moving on.
Yeah.
There's those rhymes you were talking about.
Yep. How many songwriters are even trying to rhyme with
no
Alpha
one?
Centauri?
Literally zero.
Yeah, like
there's
have
one.
Some fun, guys. Come on. Yeah, someone in chat says the first break in pace in the album.
Yep.
There's a modulation up a minor third there. I had some crazy moments where I would listen to these songs that I used to love growing up, and I would realize that they modulated, but they did it so smoothly that I didn't notice it growing up. Like In Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel, the chorus is in a different key than the verses. And I didn't realize that until like 2 years ago. I challenged myself to try to do something similar with a lot of these songs.
Lighters out.
Yep, what is that, everybody? I had so much fun writing the rhymes on this song.
You can tell.
Support and life support. I had so much fun writing.
Privateer, atmosphere.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah. Drop it. Drop it.
give me those good chemicals, John.
Let me
Oh,
feel it.
oh, look at that sing. Look at that note. It's hitting real good. Perfect. Perfect.
Man, the last line of this song really kind of messed me up, man. It's such a learning experience. Because like it's still a song about a dude in a spaceship, you know?
Yeah.
And
I'm crying. Is this normal?
yeah.
That's what he intended.
Yeah, that's the goal, man.
That was a good
Yeah.
line, though. Her gravity remains. Like, that's like a good freaking line.
That was the moment that I knew that the song was working, was when I came up with her gravity remains. That was like,
That's just
oof.
like that moment where you step out of like the fun universe you have on the album,
man,
and people can like actually relate to that.
I don't want to like get into any more long rabbit holes about like talking about it, but like, man, like people have, not everybody, but a lot of people have stagnated with the imagery and the colors that they use to describe love in modern music. People are using the same metaphors for the past 20 years to explain, to paint a picture of love. People are running out of ideas. And I feel like I had something to prove writing a lot of these songs, that there's new things that you can express. Like the line, her gravity remains, that's like,
It's just
that is a unique picture of love that you know, it's not the greatest picture of love, but it's a unique, it captures a unique feeling that hasn't been captured in a lyric before. And if you listen to a lot of these modern love songs that are coming out year after year, it's again, it's the same imagery over and over.
Yeah.
Like, it's just saying like, oh, I'm in love, is it enough, one more day, find the words to say. It's just the same stuff over and over.
yeah.
Like,
Oh man.
these songs I write, I'll make it right, keep up the fight. It's like, I get it, man.
Privateer, atmosphere.
Yeah, like try like paint a new picture. Paint a new picture, man. I don't want to hear the same love song 200 times.
Well, it's
you know?
it's to like semi gush about the lyric itself, like the very end of that, because you surround it with clever rhymes and painting that picture of the longing and the situation that the person's in, but then the line hits, her gravity remains, and it's like it makes sense immediately to a listening audience, and it's because it's so relatable in that moment. Aside from, you know, the building up to it, it makes it impact even more, because it all leads up to that like final like stake.
Yeah.
Like, yes,
Like,
that is how it feels.
I just it pains me so much that kids are growing up thinking that boring recycled love songs are normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the next generation of songwriters is going to think that the bar is set at, find the words to say, find another way, can't make this feeling go away. Like that's the bar. And kids are so used to that being normal that they never try to shoot for the stars, pun intended. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I feel like people gotta aim higher. People gotta not just write the same rhymes. There's so, and that honestly, that's part of why like hip hop resonates with a lot of people, because a lot of rappers are writing these lyrics that are really clever, and the rhymes are really well designed. You know what I mean? Like they are crafting really skillfully made combinations of words that have not been done before.
Dude, that's so funny too, because I go to I go to like a dance jam, like Zumba-esque thing at my gym, and it's like all hip hop. So I'm hearing songs I've never heard, because that's not a genre I listen to very often. But the words are like blaring really loud in there, and I'll hear this rhyme that's like so sick, and the beat behind it's so perfect. It's like, and it makes me like so excited for that song. It's like you dance and hit the beats even harder just because the rhyme was so good. Like I mean, there's something about it that like it fills
like
you.
Part of it is necessity, because if you're rapping, there's no melody to carry the song. So all that you have is how skillfully written your lyrics are. Like if your rhymes don't go hard in a rap song, all you're left with is a drum beat. I mean, obviously there's more to rap than just a drum beat and lyrics, but you guys get the idea. Like I feel like songwriters often lean too heavily into just having a catchy melody, and then the lyrics are just the first thing that it's the path of least resistance. It's the bottom of the barrel, where the first idea for cliche lyrics about love are the first thing that comes to head, for these songwriters, and they just never try harder.
So,
and it just makes me sad, man. So
when are we gonna get someone's asking a Galactic Kraken rap album? Is this what the hint is?
I am not a rapper.
I mean, that doesn't matter. Like you can.
Well, that's it. That's a.
Are you referencing the Super Hot Fire?
Psych! That's the wrong number. Anyway,
it never ages. It never will age. It's perfect.
So all the kids in the chat who haven't seen that one, but
they need to go see it.
There will never be a Galactic Kraken rap album, because that's not. I'm not a rapper. Like seriously though, like I'm not. That's not. Galactic Kraken is me doing what I do best, and I am not the best at rapping. So I'd love to work with some rappers sometime on what they're passionate about.
I'm just wondering when you're gonna drop that SoundCloud, get that SoundCloud rap career going.
Yeah, drop this. Yeah, the SoundCloud link in the replies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I mean, we can talk about this more after this next song, but I just want to. I want to make more. I want to bring my knowledge of technical music theory to more people, and I want to help artists as a producer more, and bring my skill set to helping other people realize their artistic visions. Like I feel like there's so many people, even just in the chat right now, like you and Cami and other people who have been on this show, Anna, Brandon, Rich, all of these amazing musicians. And even if even if some of us are passionate about making this clickbait stuff, I want to see the Caleb Hyles, Nothing Held Back original album, where Caleb Hyles does everything that defines Caleb Hyles, at 100%. And I want to help you make that. I want you to tell me, John, I want to make a Celtic folk song that's Caleb Hyles, and I'll be like, okay, let me help you build that, because I know what combinations to use. I want to work with anybody, and I don't want anybody to pressure these people to work with me, but any of these people that are friends of ours in this music world, Anna, Cami, Brandon, Rich, Halicine, Anthony, Violet, Pelike, all these amazing
Yeah.
artists. I want to, like I want to see these people not held back by clickbait, and I want to do more stuff like this, whether it's Starship Velociraptor or something else. I just want to like stop holding ourselves back by what will get views.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I feel that. I feel that. And I think that's like such a great segue into the final frontier.
Let's bring it back down to earth with one more song.
The final track off of Starship Velociraptor, the final transmission, if you will.
Yes.
Of the album. So then the longest song on the album.
The longest song, to remind you that no matter how much we fantasize, we are still in the real world.
Alrighty. Final Frontier.
Thank you so much for listening, everybody. And thank you, Caleb, for having me on your great show.
Cool. I have a great show.
Well, dude, like, I think people can tell that you're doing this show because you want to do this show.
I do. I very much want to do the show.
I think that if you asked a marketing analyst if this show is a good idea from a clickbait perspective, they would probably tell you to quit it and go back to just making covers. And I think it's really good that from the very beginning, and this,
I'll let you finish your sentence. I want to hear the song.
You can keep it going, but
I want to hear it.
Since the very beginning of your channel, it's been very clear that you're a dude who wants to sing, and it's very unfiltered. You know what I mean? And my opinion about this has changed and matured over the years. And I used to get butthurt when I would see people, because I was spending hours and hours and hours editing these complicated, fancy looking videos. And then somebody like you with a webcam would just sing. And I used to get salty about that because I felt like I didn't get why my effort in being fancy about the video, I felt that I wasn't being rewarded for that. And it was very transactional for me. And that was toxic. But I think what's great about you and your channel, and also about many of these other, many of these people that just post lyric videos, it's not about how fancy the video is. It's just about you singing. And I think there's something really, I think that's lightning in a bottle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, thank you.
I think if I had to go, like, I'm grateful that I thought it was necessary to learn how to edit fancy videos. And I'm grateful that I thought it was necessary for me to learn how to use a camera. But I'm also grateful that I learned that I don't need that.
Mm-hmm.
And that at the end of the day, there is some base, primal, when you strip it all away, the only thing that matters is what's the point of what we're doing? And I think that you have nailed that since the very beginning. For you, it has always been about, I'm Caleb Hyles and I'm going to sing. You know what I mean? And I wish that I had that focus from the beginning. So.
Well, that is extremely kind. I'm going to go cry while we listen to Final Frontier. So we'll play this final song. And I won't interrupt or anything else. I am very, very much interested in hearing the entirety of Final Frontier.
Well, thank you, man. And thank you for having me on the show.
Of course, dude. Any freaking time. Funny enough, I will go down there.
Before the flood, our vengeful planet we
fun major, going to what would be the minor chord and then making it a major chord with a 4/3 suspension in that chorus. For those of you music nerds, fun way to add a different color to that chorus. I felt like this album was lacking slow songs, so I think this song is really important with how it sits in the album. We're going to walk up to a major chord instead of a minor chord here, which is that's a fun little quirk. I mentioned it earlier, but the album art was made by Volta Bass, and the social media art for Galactic Kraken was made by Pie Raccoon at Pie Makes Art. Did a lot of art for this album, and she's also working on a video. Vocal ad-libs. One last post-chorus. Ride it out. Ride it out to the end, baby. The final trip. And into the sunset.
That was Galactic Kraken.
Starship Velociraptor.
Starship Velociraptor.
Velociraptor.
Starship Velociraptor. Okay.
Thank you so much for having me on the show, man. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Well, depending on hold on, let me stop. It's just okay, that's okay, hold on. Oh, there we go. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to back it out to double cams.
Yes.
I still had I know we're running a little
Yeah,
later
no,
than
I
we
don't
thought.
I got time. Yeah, I got time.
What was I going to say? Easy question to follow up. And I wish more artists would ask this, because I know this is like maybe interviewers don't want to like ruffle feathers or seem like they've moved on, or like trying to downplay the work that's currently in front of them. But like, is this the last we're going to see of
No.
Galactic Kraken? No. And where are we, if I may ask with such a straightforward answer, in more Galactic Kraken?
Well, Starship Velociraptor is the most fun that I've had making music in my entire life. By far.
By far.
By a very, very large margin. I I was sick of making music before I started working on, or before I like started diving into this project, and this project single-handedly has made me love making music again. And it's like, it's also exactly the style of music that I want to be making. And the reason why I decided to release it as Galacticraken and a Jonathan Young instead of just Jonathan Young is to make sure that if someone realizes that this is what they like, if someone likes Galacticraken, they can just search for Galacticraken.
I see.
You know what I mean?
I see.
Because, and that was done on purpose so that I can do more like this and have it be set apart from my Jonathan Young stuff. Because if someone found this album and this was how they found me for the first time, and they tried to find more stuff like this, there's 300 cover songs.
Yeah, you're gonna kind of run
50 more cover songs every single year. There's 50 more Spotify releases that are just gonna bury this album if you search for Jonathan Young. So instead, when people click on Galacticraken on Spotify, they can see, okay, this is the first Galacticraken album. And then in the future, when I make more Galacticraken, you'll be able to find every song that is like this from my passion project under the same umbrella.
Yeah.
Or from Galacticraken, excuse me.
Yeah.
It's definitely a real band.
Yes.
I don't know.
As we've established.
Definitely a real band and not just me pretending to be a band.
Yes.
So I actually already
There's
have
a real alien.
I already have a song done from the next album.
That was quick. That was extremely quick. Like done?
Yeah, I have a song. It still needs some tweaks, but the song is fully recorded and written, and it's 100% done. And then I have like 3 or 4 other songs that are like halfway done.
Are you John? Are you going to become one of these Billy Joel, Elton John, Bob Dylan-esque people that like don't stop writing till like the day they die, and they're prolific and they have like 30 plus albums?
Why would I stop?
I don't know. Like, I just think band cycles or album cycles tend to last like 2 to 3 years, but then you have people like Jonathan Colton who are just like every year, all the time.
I think when people stop, it's because they've run out of ideas and they feel like they don't have anything else to say.
Huh.
And I feel like that's stupid.
I don't think I do not think.
No offense to anybody who there's plenty of great musicians that have decided it's time to throw in the towel, but like think about like Paul McCartney or like Paul McCartney has like hundreds of songs and albums that he's been involved
think about all the songs he like that were done and threw away, like that he was like never mind, like no thanks. Think about how many songs you have that you've done
before the internet. That was before Paul McCartney was, or that was before people were encouraged to put out music every week. Like Paul McCartney had to do all this stuff by hand, and he still has hundreds of songs in his discography.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I feel like bands will decide that working together as a team with this group of people has run its course.
Yeah.
As a group, this band has nothing more to say and nothing new to contribute, or maybe there's personal issues or private issues that get in the way of it. But I fully intend to just keep going.
Oh man.
Until I run out of ideas.
I can. That's extremely exciting.
I'll give you guys a really crappy quality preview here of this.
Is this okay? All right, sweet. See, I wasn't gonna.
This is not planned.
Yeah, I didn't ask.
I have a couple things here. We'll see if it actually plays through the speakers here. And
see, that's good. Yeah, play it through the speakers because then we get like not like.
So if anybody wants to hear the preview, they have to hear it through my crappy speakers through the microphone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
13 kilobytes.
Oh, hold on. Okay, here we go.
It's getting noise gated horribly. He just looks like he's jiving. We can't hear it. John, we can't hear it.
You can't hear it?
It's getting noise gated. I think that might noise gate it further. We'll see. This is all you're gonna get is just like this choppy.
Is it still getting noise gated?
It's still getting noise gated. Maybe there's like something you can do on your side.
Sorry guys, you don't get a preview.
Oh, that sucks.
I tried.
I tried
to play it.
You tried.
I was gonna give you a preview of the next album, but you know.
That is The classic.
Wait, hold on. Maybe I can turn on push to talk and force. Okay, can you hear? Can you hear this? Can you hear this?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
So I'm gonna do this with my other mouse. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Oh, you're muted. Can you still hear me?
Yes. I'm muting
Okay.
just so I don't have any kickback.
That's all you get.
Oh, we don't get vocals.
Nope.
Oh
Nope.
man.
I don't want to shoot myself in the foot like I did last time and have somebody 3 years from now pull up
Hey.
the stream and be like, "What happened to that song that you cut from the album that you showed on Caleb Hyles' stream on April 4th?"
Hey, everybody liked it.
That's good.
All of them that were there thought it was.
I wasn't
a
looking
joy.
at the chat. I was trying to make sure that I have other songs I could play here if I really wanted to get overzealous, but I don't know which ones are going to make it onto the album. So
I have like a gremlin face I was making. I was like,
yeah.
I was very excited. Okay, well then I'm gonna be really quick because I don't want to hold you up for too much longer. And
That's all right.
but I did have a couple. I did have like some questions.
Yeah, let's do lightning round questions. Just throw them at me.
Lightning rounds here. Do you think there is an irony in the fact that right after you released Jetpack Race, you released your recreation of Let It Go?
Yes.
And its response, right from
It's
the
much
initial
better than
reception,
Jetpack Race. Yes.
the initial
And
response, and was that on
is
purpose?
why that is why I hate my job, ladies and gentlemen, because I spent hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars on Jetpack Race, and I spent 2 days on that cover of Let It Go. Not like maybe 12 hours of work total on that cover of Let It Go. And I'm not going to go into this rabbit hole again, but this is why the art world is having a problem with sequels and reboots, because everybody says that they hate sequels, everybody says that they hate reboots, everybody says that they hate how everything is clickbait, but then they still watch the clickbait, they still pay for the tickets to the sequels. So like, if we want to change this, everybody has to stand up and support when artists make original content that they're passionate about, because this is a case study that proves my point that I released this, I even did my best to try to make it clickbaity, and it still didn't get as many views because Let It Go is a clickbait term that the algorithm is going to push. Anyway, lightning round. I'm sorry.
No, it was kind of a loaded question. Like there was a bit under there. And then also some questions that I had Kara write a couple questions.
Nice.
She was curious about some things. Were there any expectations that you had for when we first met, you and me? And like I know we joked about like the whole like I'll make a man out of you and things like that, but was there like overall, what were like, if there were any at all?
What do you mean, like when I met you, did I have any expectations about you?
Yeah.
Well, I said this before. I was kind of salty that you were just filming on your webcam, and I had spent $300 on a camera.
Yes.
I was like, oh, that guy Caleb just made a video on his webcam, and it's getting more views than me. I mean, but I was a stupid kid back then, and.
But you still like, we still collaborated, And,
I mean, at a certain point, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna hit this guy up. I don't know, like I didn't really have very many friends back then, and I was kind of like so desperate to have a career that I was like trying to be friendly with everyone. So, I don't know. I don't think I had any expectations.
Okay. That's fine. I didn't really have
not-
anything going
yeah.
in either. I was more or less like, we'll roll with it. Like, he seems cool. Seems like a nice guy. Seems like a good idea. And
I was lost. I was flailing around because I was not. I've said this before, maybe not so publicly, but fame is not good for anybody. and nothing can mentally prepare you for getting that much attention from strangers. And it all happened. It happened quickly for me, and it happened quickly for most of the people I know. And it's not healthy. And when I first met Caleb, I was still very much reeling from that. So,
well,
it's hard to think back to that.
And an opportunity to like give you some additional praise. You know, you've been extremely gracious, especially in the beginning parts of our relationship. Like you would, you know, you would help me like fly out to where you were to do recordings. You would also you willingly offer up to do instrumentals. Like, and you were extremely instrumental, to use that other phrase again, in helping me with putting things up for download, putting things up for streaming, that whole world. Like, just gracious with your time and knowledge.
Well, I mean,
throughout all of it.
I figure, like, nobody loses. You know what I mean? Like, I don't stand to lose anything by sharing my knowledge with you. Like, there's no. I feel like people like that is how I immediately tell that I do not want to be friends with somebody who works as a content creator, is when they are transactional and they think that, like, well, if I let you in on this secret about how to make good videos, then you have to give me something back. Like, there's so many people that are like that, and I hate it. So I try to have this attitude of just like we all win. If the more everyone knows about how to do this stuff, everybody wins.
And then last one, I'll add on to it too. Were you nervous for your first time performing, like, as Jonathan Young, first time you were on stage? And then after you answer that, I'll just throw on the add-on.
I wish I had a better answer to this, but I think by that time, I was pretty used to it. But by the time that I did my first performance as a YouTuber, I had already performed a lot before my YouTube career. I was like, I was performing in front of audiences of a couple hundred people for stuff in high school. I was in like high school bands and stuff like that. So I had kind of gotten used to stage fright by the time that I started my YouTube channel. So,
well, then the follow-up to that is, when will we see again Jonathan Young or Galactic Kraken in some form in a performance setting, whenever that may be?
That I do not have the answer to, because
assuming, you know, once things return to a new normal.
Part of the theme of this project for me has been being more honest about who I am and what I'm passionate about and what I like and what I don't like, and becoming self-aware about those things. And one thing that I've learned about myself is that I feel like many musicians perform live because it's an ego-driven thing. Not everybody. There is a lot of joy and expression and beauty in the magical things that happen when you're performing live in front of an audience, especially if you're with a band, you're all playing your own instruments. People will try things and experiment with, like, adding a different drum part and adding a different guitar part in the heat of the moment. And that can lead to some of the most beautiful musical things happening when there's 5 musicians colliding on a stage, trying different things. But I think that our culture has kind of started to lose that. And a lot of live performances nowadays are just trying to replicate trying to replicate the studio version of a song. Like paying people to exactly replicate a studio recording so that you can get paid and sell t-shirts and feel good about playing in front of a couple hundred people. And I don't need that. I don't feel like I need that. I don't feel like I need to perform to feel good about myself. I don't feel like I need to recreate these songs on stage in order to share them with people. So it would be cool to be able to play these songs live, but when I think about doing that, the first thought that comes to my head is the hassle of booking a touring agency, booking all of these concert halls, practicing for weeks with all of these musicians, and I just like get stressed and anxious thinking about the workload of putting that together. And while yes, it would be a fun experience, I would almost rather just get back to work recording the next album, man. Like, because this is like writing this stuff is where I feel most at home.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I just I don't feel the need to perform it live. So hope, you know, maybe it'll happen, but yeah.
Well, I know about roughly 500 people who would really want to see Jonathan Young in Galactic Kraken perform live. I know they would love to feast their eyes on that. I think they would have a trip for it. But of course, I completely sympathize with this is where you're most comfortable. This is where you feel at home. This is like you want to write more music, put more out there. And half the time I would wish some of my favorite bands would stop touring and just please write more music because I like your music. I want more of that. I've definitely felt that before.
There's bands, like I listen to a lot of Wolfpack. They're like a funk jazz band. I love Wolfpack, and I think that's the type of group that really thrives on live performances, because it's all organic. Like they come up with, like, the bass player will do something, and then the drummer will come up with an idea based on what the bass player is doing, and the guitar player will come up with something based on what the drummer's doing, and it's this organic writing a song on the fly as a collaboration, and that's not what I'm doing. Like I feel like that is the final form of live performances, and for me, these recordings are the final form of that, of capturing what I'm trying to do. So you know, maybe someday.
Well, if you ever need somebody to be up there to do backup vocals or get extremely good at keyboard,
you'll be the first person that I call, Caleb.
I'll just get extremely good at bass or keyboard. Just let me know about a year in advance, and so I can get extremely good at it. And then I'll be right there,
in the traditional music industry. Touring is the main reason that traditional record label musicians make money, is through touring. So I think that since we don't need that as YouTube musicians, our money doesn't come from that. I think that there's kind of a paradigm shift that you're going to start to see happening right now with how people like us interface with the world of live performing, because we don't need that financially, like many bands that have a record label do need to pay their bills by touring. So yeah.
Well, last question. This is very lightning round, and it just came from Kara in the chat.
All right.
Last question. How much Panda Express have you eaten this week?
None.
I
usually only go out to get a bunch of fast food when I have, like, you or somebody else.
What do you normally do when we're not
recently
around?
Like, I used to go and get, like, breakfast or whatever a lot, but I've been eating at home a lot.
Nice. Like just sandwiches or like like
whatever.
meals?
I'm trying to get healthier. I've learned the hard way that it's not a coincidence that I am cranky and bad at making music when I eat like crap and don't get enough sleep and stay up too late and don't get any sunlight. Like that's not a coincidence that when I don't take care of my body starts to shut down and I don't make good art when that is happening, because it's all connected.
See, I thought the official food of Galactic Kraken was orange chicken, double portions. From Panda Express. That's what I thought it was.
That's a good idea. But yeah, I have, you know, I've been trying to eat out less.
Nice. No, that's dope, dude. No, that's super cool. But I know I remember we were there and we like ate Panda Express like multiple times the last time, which I was fine with.
Like when I have somebody like you out here working with me, it's like when we're hungry, it's like, okay, we're going to get food. Like we're not making a sandwich. We're going to get food so that we can get back to work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm trying to be more honest and more healthy and less clickbaity. And,
more healthy, more honest, less clickbaity. And I think that's a good final statement.
That's a good way to close the book.
Yeah,
and, yeah, man.
Until Galactic Kraken Second edition.
Kara in the chat. Whew, that health affects creativity.
It does.
Thank you, Kara. Thank you.
Well, John, I'll let you go here. Like, we'll end the call, and then I'll close out my show. I'll do that whole thing.
Well, now I feel bad.
Why do you feel bad?
Well, what are you closing? What am I missing out on if I leave right now?
I'm gonna talk a lot of smack, so I just can't do it with you right here, in front of my face. I have to have some degree of
God, I can't believe I listened to that whole crappy album on my show
for the 5th time. Golly.
Well, before I go, man, I really appreciate you having me on here, and you did not have to use your platform like this to promote my album. So I really do appreciate it.
I believe in what you're doing. That's what it is. I believe in what you're talking about your album and creativity.
I apologize if I've been overexcited during the stream to everybody in the chat. I've been trying to make an effort to not have the spotlight on me as much recently because it's not healthy, but I'm just genuinely very excited for this album, and I'm very glad that you guys seem to like it.
And you should at least allow yourself the first month of the release to be excited about it.
Yeah,
you deserve that.
I kind of feel guilty talking about the album so much because I feel like the album should be able to speak for itself, but it was still fun getting to break it down like this and analyze it, because I think that there is I think there's some stuff to take away from that. And but yeah, man, before I go, we got to make some more original music soon. I know I said this to you the other day.
Absolutely. I would adore that.
I think that we should take a stand and make it the new normal to do stuff like this more often.
I'm 100% fine for that. And I think everybody here, analytics be darned, the kind of the money side, all that business. It's this is the kind of stuff that's really thrilling, that is fulfilling and engaging. And what I think, even if it's not this mass consumed thing, it's there are people out here who are here right now who've come and gone that are this is the stuff they really want to see. They believe in it too. And maybe if we can do a tree branch thing where it branches off and more people come in, and then it can become that thing where you change the dynamic.
I would love to be able to do that. I would love to be able to build something like that, whether it's with the Villainous Music channel or something else. I'm gonna be that guy and spam and bug all of my musician friends about doing original music with me instead of just these clickbaity covers.
Well, and then, the dream becomes that one day this is all you're going to be doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Just doing the originals. So I will definitely follow up on more originals. Obviously, I have a lot of my own stuff too that I'd love to work with you again, because you've done 2 of my songs on my album, and I freaking adore them. So I would love to do more of those and then collaborate on some tracks. And obviously,
we'll talk about all those business details, of course, when we're not in front of 500 people. But
gotcha. Well, you have a good.
I'll send you that song that I have done as well, so that you can hear it.
Yes, please. Well, you have a good rest of your evening, John.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you. I love you. We will talk again soon.
You too, brother.
Much love. We'll be out there sometime soon. I'm getting vaccinated for the 2nd time tomorrow, so
yes,
I'm ready.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Absolutely. Talk to you later, John.
Peace
out. Oh my gosh, y'all. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Let me turn my webcam on. Oh no, it's not working. Oh, my webcam. Oh, please, webcam. Why aren't you working? I know we were running Discord, but come on now. All right. Well, you're not going to get that anymore. It's just my voice and this black screen. This empty black screen. Just how I felt after Jetpack Race. Anyway, I'm kidding. Oh man. Well, what happens if I hit this button and then I go over to here back? I just jump back. Okay, that did not work. Well, I wanted y'all to see me, but it doesn't look like you get to. What if I deactivate and then reactivate? Oh my gosh, that worked. Wow. Look at that. Look at technology. Oh, and the video quality is so much better. I hope that y'all enjoyed that. I thoroughly enjoyed that. It was really, that is, for me, that was everything that I wanted it to be. In fact, even topics that I didn't think he would even touch, he did. Because those are the kind of conversations that we've had over the past 5 years of initial business relationship that became friendship. And I'm so glad that y'all got to get to listen to Starship Velociraptor. Even with commentary over it, it still shines through. So you should definitely go and listen. I hated it. You should go and listen to the whole thing without the volume down and us talking over it. But also an opportunity for y'all to, get to see John and get to hear his wise words, his philosophies, his thoughts on life, but also how much of a teacher he is, how much he loves to share and encourage. I think this is actually doing the opposite for him as maybe what he wants, which is not to be lauded over by people. But it's hard not to. I think whether he likes it or not, his who he is actually makes him magnetic. And see, this is why it's weird to say all this because he's not here. I can say it now because he's not right in front of me. So I think John is forever cursed to have people want to be in his presence and to want people to see him and be around him, because he has a magnetic personality, but he also he listens, he is receptive, he's inspirational, and those are qualities that people like to be around and want to emulate. And you can't stop people from wanting those things. And John just happens to have all those. And then you mix it with an incredible propensity for music theory combined with a lifetime of practice. It's something to aspire to. So it's the more I think about what John said on this stream and we've talked about before, I'm like, John, you're cursed, man. You just need to you'd have to become a hermit, for people to not want to see you or be around you. You need to be quiet. You need to do the opposite. You need to do the opposite of what you did to Jay, John, which is show who you are. Because it doesn't help people. You're get back. I don't want anyone to know. Everyone's just getting closer because they know more about you. Oh man. But no, this was great. And I thank John for being a sport and hopping on here and being really more vocal than I thought he would be. It was dope. Music was great. The album's great. So excited for the another Galactic Kraken album. You could barely even digest the first one before the second one's about to come kick you in the mouth. And thanks for everyone being here. This is easily the most attended episode of Unfiltered, and I think the word's gotten around too that this is something I do and people are excited about it. So, and I hope to get even more guests on here, a variety of guests. And maybe I'll get back to doing the freaking Caleb Hyles show with all its segments at some point in time. Monse Studio made these great art pieces and I want to use them. But every time I think about coming around to do this, I just think about doing another episode of Unfiltered, and I really enjoy it. So I hope y'all got away. I hope y'all took away from this as much as I have over the years of knowing John, and just got just a little bit from it. But I won't take up any more of your evening, morning, or afternoon, wherever you are. Just grateful that y'all are here. And I will be releasing a cover next week. There's no cover this week on my channel. I just hope that, I really do what John said. I really do love singing, and I really do love releasing covers. I've sang covers since I was a kid. That's true. I very much have loved what I do. This is a joy of mine. There are some covers that I don't enjoy as much or singing, but being able to release these every week or every other week nowadays, and sing some of my favorite songs and find new music, this is joyous. And y'all give me that, by keeping up with me and doing these things. And yeah, it is a little disparaging to think that I have to cater to a system and think about keywords and follow the trends and whatnot. It's part of the business. So there is something inspirational, particularly about what John is trying to do. and y'all who are here, and even those who aren't, who've listened to the album and bought it, that's kind of the Trailblaze stuff, right? Like, because John is right when he says the music industry is in need of shifting, and I think this is the kind of stuff that's going to do it, you know. So, all that being said, all of that being said, we're going to hop over here. I'm going to close this down because I'm not streaming soon, but we're going to play a song out. I was trying to think of what song to play from John, just to really end on a good note for John here. Let's just play one more from Galactic Kraken, shall we? Let's end on 10,000 Light Years because this freaking song's a bomb. Much love to y'all. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.
Wish I'd met that girl before I shot my life away half-world when I didn't have a reason to be alive. Now she's so far from me, stuck on Alpha Centauri, and I'm out here with a broken hybrid drive. Since I've left port and I'm running low on life support, yeah, but that's not the reason I can't breathe. It's a lonely night in hell aboard this broken privateer. I would brave 100,000 more to taste her atmosphere. Her gravity